Technical difficulties check. One, one, two. One, two. Oh man. Oh man. No. Technical difficulties with my microphone. But yo, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. Here we are again. What would it be without something going wrong? What would it be? Anyways, oh man, thank you guys for being here. Today we've got the great, incredible Dub the Wolf. He's going to be the first person we've talked to on here that is actually currently active duty. So super excited about it. But you know, enough chit chatting, yip yapping, jaw jacking. I'm going to go ahead and get into him. Let's roll this screen out over here, make sure everything's all lined up, and then yo, are you there, man?
I am here.
Hey,
You hear me?
I can. Coming in
Heck yeah.
loud and beautiful. Awesome. Yo, so thank you for being here. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you for thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got this is great. This is the first time we've ever done like somebody who's currently in. We've talked to people who have been like Vietnam era. I'd love to get some World War II vet in here. There's not that
Right.
many left, but we've talked to guys who just got out before. But this is the first time we're talking to somebody who's like currently still dealing with it and dealing with it. But for those of you who don't know, my name is my name is Danny. I'm a Marine Corps vet. Few tours in Iraq, so I'm not just some guy pretending to be a guy playing another guy. I'm actually, that kind of guy. But anyways, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? What branch, and we'll kind of go from there.
All right. Well, hello everybody. Hope you guys are having a great what is it, Thursday?
It's Thursday.
Uh I am Dub the Wolf, also known as Tommy. I have been I'm a Coast Guard active duty. I've been in since 14, 14, 13, going on 8 years.
Don't ask
I
me.
am in I joined when I was 23, so I was a little bit of a late bloomer. Um, I have been stationed in a lot of places already. I haven't done any like tours as VOP has, but yeah. What else can I think of? I'm currently living in SoCal right now, stationed
Hey,
out here, and yeah,
awesome.
really glad to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Sweet. So, Coast Guard. So when you walked into the branches, what made you skip past all of them and go to the Coast Guard?
So the biggest thing for me was when I was in high school and everything, I was like, Army and Marines, so cool, got to do it. I always thought I was like dreaming about being in the Army and everything.
Mhm.
And when I joined and everything, when I was talking about it, I actually, everybody has those like weird stories, like, oh, I didn't get in because of this disease, and I can't join because of this and everything.
Sure.
I didn't really care for the army. They didn't have the kind of things I was looking forward to. But when I went to the Marines, I was actually like looking into them and everything, and they actually came back. It was like, hey, like, we have an issue with your bloodline. I'm like, what are you talking about and everything? And I was like, well, you're an only child,
Hmm.
and you have a half sister, but on your mother's side of the family, there's nobody. For at the time it was my mother, my uncle, and my grandma. There was nobody else on my mom's side of the family, and I guess that was like, I don't know if they just weren't. I think it had a lot to do with they didn't have anybody. They didn't need people at the time that I was joining,
Okay.
and they were just kind of like, this could be an issue later on. We're just not going to deal with it. So I was like,
Makes sense.
okay,
Yeah.
got like a care package of marine stuff, like a shirt, duffel bag, and
Yeah.
see you later. So I was one of
Yeah.
those guys that actually got like looked over.
Hmm. Interesting.
So
Interesting.
after that, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go do something else. So I went into I did a lot of like factory and like construction work for a while.
Hmm.
I was going to school for EMT, fire, and did all the academies and everything, and I couldn't get a job anywhere.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Couldn't get a job anywhere. I was doing all the civil services they had, putting in my time everywhere. Getting my certs and everything. Wasn't a paramedic at the time, but the fact that I was a basic EMT, basic firefighter 1 and 2 and everything, just people were just not not about it and everything,
Hmm.
and I just kind of looked over it, and anytime I got an opportunity, I would get stepped on by somebody who had experience. It's like, well, how do you expect me to get experience if
Yeah.
nobody will hire me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that dream kind of set sail and everything, and I started looking into like other things, and I was making good money at the time, so I was enjoying myself and everything. I was actually like, I had looked into the Coast Guard before, but I hadn't looked into them since high school.
Yeah.
And when I didn't know anything about joining the military when I was in high school, so I actually when I looked into the Coast Guard in high school, I actually applied for the Coast Guard Academy, and I had no clue.
Yeah.
And I like I put in the entire package and everything. And even at the time, I was thinking like, this is a lot. But I was like, oh, maybe the Coast Guard is just like different. I knew they were different.
Yeah.
I was like, man, like this is a lot for this.
Yeah.
And they basically came back. They're like, wow, like your volunteer hours, your essays, all your recommendations are great, but your grades suck.
Yeah.
And I literally didn't get my GP. I'm like, well, there goes the Coast Guard. Like that's ship set sail. Not knowing that I was applying for the academy.
Yeah.
And so that was still in high school. So fast forward, I can't get a job as a firefighter or
Mhm.
EMT anywhere, working the factories and everything. And I'm just like, I keep on thinking about the military, but I'm not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And I go on Craigslist and I'm like, I want to buy a jet ski because the jet ski I had actually like shit the bed. And guess who had to come rescue me in the middle of Lake Erie?
Yeah. Coast
The
Guard.
Coast Guard.
Yeah. Oh,
My
that's
first
great.
interaction with the Coast Guard was getting rescued by them because I was swimming ashore with my jet ski. Fucking, I had a line, I had a line coming out the front of it. And I had it like slung over my shoulder. I'm swimming, dragging my jet ski
Yeah.
all the way to shore, like
Yeah.
2 miles off.
Yeah,
And the
that's
Coast
great.
Guard comes up and is like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm out." I was like, "My engine blew."
Mm.
But so yeah, I'm looking at a new jet ski and everything, and the guy's really cool and everything. I was like, work out the price and everything, and I don't know how we got into a conversation, but
Mhm.
where he's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in the Coast Guard." I'm like, "Wow, that's really cool. I always thought about it, but blah 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 and everything." And long story short, he turns me on to this recruiter, and I was like, "Oh, I'll give him a call and everything." Uh, the crazy thing is that the recruiter is the same rate I am now. He was the same job. He was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Same kind of like things that he had to deal with when he was getting in,
Yeah.
and he had like a lot of similarities. So it was like talking to somebody who was like like a neighbor like
Mhm.
that was could have been with friends with forever.
Yeah.
And initially, because I was still making good money at the time, I was still nervous about the military. And because I had like it wasn't like I was 17 or 18, like just coming out of school. It was a little bit farther at the time, and I was looking at just joining the reserves,
Yeah.
and I did all the reserve stuff and everything, had the whole package all together, blah blah blah. It took me a while to get in because some other stuff and everything, but I eventually got in. But like the week before I'm about to go to MEPS, they sit me down. It's my recruiter who's a E6 and the E7 of the office. They're like, hey, like what's stopping you from going active duty? And I'm like, I don't know, like I'm I'm nervous about it. Like I don't know, I don't know what's going on and everything. Like they're like, well, what are you coming back to? What's happening when you come back? And I'm
Mhm.
like, if you stay reservist, what are you gonna do when you get back? I'm like, well, I'll probably have to find another job because this job's not gonna hold my job for me,
Yeah.
and I'll probably have to go back and live at home for a little bit so I can get some money together and move back out again. They're
Mhm.
like, why don't you just like basically like why don't you give active duty a try? Like, there's nothing going on here. That's the area where I worked in. It's all factories and everything. Like, this is what you're going to come back to. So
Yeah.
it's like, why don't you give it a try? The worst comes to worst, you try to do it for 4 years and you get out. I'm like,
Yeah.
talk to my family, talk to a couple friends, talk to my cousin who was in the active duty army at the time, and was just kind of like, should I do this? And I eventually just called back and said yes. And then 3 days later, I was going to MEPS, going for active duty. It was
There you
nuts.
go. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, it's funny how that type of stuff works out. Like, you don't plan on doing one thing, but I mean, all of a sudden, some smooth talking recruiter ends up talking you into something else, and then yeah, then you end up going active duty. That's awesome though. So where is I'm not familiar with the Coast Guard, like really roughly, kind of at all.
At the time,
Uh,
I wasn't familiar either.
so where's your guys's your basic or boot camp at? Where's that at?
So now our basic is only in Cape May, New Jersey,
Uh huh.
and
Oh.
and it can be done two ways. It can be done as a initial, you do your 8 weeks, you do your 8 weeks there, and then you move into the Coast Guard on your first assignment.
Mhm.
Or if you are, we tend to have a lot of people from other branches come our way, and they made basically an accelerated boot camp for those coming from other branches and everything, and that could be anywhere from like 3 to 4 weeks. So it's basically like cut in half, and it's more of an accelerated program for people that already have like discipline and everything. It's more of like the transitional
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. Huh.
So that's what they're going
4 weeks, you say, huh? I got about 4 weeks
for.
to spare.
Yeah, exactly. As they call it, I forgot what they call it, but like the acronym is like DEPO, like
Yeah.
DEPO. It's like, and it's basically just for other branches to come in a lot easier
Yeah.
and be able to join in because the funny thing is that when you actually get in, people figure out not only you figure out a lot about your branch, you find out a lot about other branches too.
Yeah.
And I've known a couple people that have left the Coast Guard to go to other branches, but usually it's a funnel towards us
Hmm.
because other I'll
Sure.
say other branches we do work hard, but we don't have the deployments and the separation other branches have,
Yeah.
or the like the big like family push. Like Coast Guard's really big about family
Hmm.
and like keeping you with them and everything, and other branches have to
Yeah.
sacrifice that for and some people just after a while they just can't stand that anymore, but they still want that military vibe.
Yeah. It makes sense. I think
Right.
a lot of veterans, not a lot, but I think one of the biggest things that a lot of vets have is they miss that camaraderie type stuff. Um, and if you're able to still do the military thing, but not like, I don't have to go on a year deployment to BFE and, like roast alive, like, yeah, why not? Still get paid for it? Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
So,
and then
oh,
once I got in, so the funny thing is that you kind of in the Coast Guard kind of like, so if you guys don't know, like the Coast Guard is like one of the few branches that you go in unrated, which unrates our jobs to us. Like I'm pretty sure Danny he went straight from boot camp to AIT, right?
yeah. Well, so the Marine Corps is you go from boot camp, then you go to SOI, regardless of what your job is, the School of Infantry. You
Mm.
do infantry training for, I mean, I think we went for like 16, like 18 weeks because when I joined, we were at war with Iraq and Afghanistan, like in both places. So you go to infantry school, and then after that, then you go to your MOS school. So there's an extra step. Everybody goes to infantry school, whether you're an admin or you're a mechanic or you're a cook or whatever you do. Everybody goes to infantry school.
Nice. So the Coast
Yeah.
Guard is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because so like you guys get loaded on. You guys pretty much just get front loaded off the rips. Like they got you, they're gonna use you.
Yeah.
So with the Coast Guard, they're actually pretty much when you get out of you get your first assignment when you're in boot camp, and you kind of have like a little bit of say. You pretty much what they call it a dream sheet because they're not gonna really it depends on the situation, but they're not gonna sit there and meet your dreams and everything.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like help you kind of facilitate where you want to go. Because if somebody really wants to go to like Alaska or something, which some people did. Like they'll facilitate that. Be like, oh, you're one of the guys that wants to go to Alaska. We'll send you.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
you go to your first unit off the riffs, and the Coast Guard is really separated by like a couple different jobs. And the big thing for me was I always wanted to go like anything that's smaller than our ships, and our ships are called cutters.
Hmm.
Anything below that's called small boat. And so I was like, oh, like I really want to do small boat. Like I want to save lives and everything. Blah blah blah. So I was like, I really didn't care where I was going. I was just trying to get away. I was like, any small boat station in America, I don't care.
Yeah.
And everybody put it, and they were like, even the big thing was like, oh yeah, as I hate, the more specific you are with your picks, the less likely you're gonna get it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be really broad, so that way I'm hooked up.
Yeah.
Oh well, that backfired. people that were like, yeah, like I would like to be like in like Florida, like around my family or something. These people got Florida. I'm like sitting here like, okay, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And me, I'm like, hey, I want any small boat station in America. I got what is considered a river tender
Hmm.
in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I'm doing no search and rescue. I'm doing no law enforcement. I am working buoys and
Hmm.
land aids.
Wow.
And like the heat of the summer and everything. So if you guys don't know, the Coast Guard also not only do they guard the coast, they also control all the navigational aids along the rivers. And the rivers are actually, if you ever guys have seen an 18-wheeler go down the road and everything, the amount of supplies that a commercial tug can push down the rivers, such as the Ohio River, Mississippi River, Monongahela River, and going on,
Mhm.
is like a barge. Like a barge is like compared to like I think it was like 10 to 18 wheelers, and they can push like 12 to 15 of them all tied
Jeez.
together down a river.
Yeah.
So you don't realize that a lot of stuff actually, like a lot of tankers and like grain barges and everything all come down the river. So we have to keep the rivers, we have to keep them marked correctly, so that way everybody knows where the shallow water is. That way they don't run aground on the banks. And then the land aids help with like turns and everything. So
Mhm.
we have to facilitate all that. And then I get to this boat. This boat was in another thing about the Coast Guard. This boat was built in '67.
Yeah.
And it's still going strong, and
Yeah.
it's still out there in the fleet. It had it's a tug and barge set up and everything, and we were responsible for the Allegheny River, the Monongahela River, and the first half of like a first not the first half, but the first part of the Ohio River, because the Ohio River is formed in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Fun fact. All in all, our one ship with 15 people on board, and it was complete enlisted ship, no officer. It was completely enlisted ship.
Yeah.
We took care of about 550 miles of river.
Jeez.
550, and I was like, when I first got there, I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm only like, and then I was like, think about the military is explore the world and everything. I'm 90 minutes from home. I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like, my first unit is closer than boot camp was, and boot camp was only like 2 states over.
Yeah.
I'm like, this was not the job. Like, this is not what I signed up for. What am I
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
So when you go into and then I'm babbling and everything, but when you go with the Coast Guard, you go straight to your first ship as we call our lower ranks instead of privates, we're non-rates. So you're E1, a seaman recruit in boot camp. You go into the fleet as an airman apprentice, fireman apprentice, or seaman apprentice, and then E3 for us is airman, fireman, or seaman.
Mhm.
Firemen being your engineers, airmen being your Airedales, and then seamen being pretty much passed around through all of them. And then from there, you choose what school you want to. We just call it A school for us, not AIT. And you choose what school you want to go to after you get qualified, and you
Mhm.
basically put your name on a list. And when your name pops up, you go to the school.
Yeah.
Some lists are really short, some lists are really long. Some lists are so critical. If anybody's looking to be a cook out there in the Coast Guard, where you could really need cooks, you will go straight from boot camp straight to school. We call it boot to A,
Mhm.
and which is rare. It's only with some rates, but it's called boot to A, and those are the only rates that are critical in the Coast Guard, and they need people now, so they won't even send them to their first unit. They'll send them straight in.
Yo, did they so I was
Oh,
I
you got
went
some love over there.
I
I see
did.
it.
Thank you, Firestorm.
You get,
My
and he
man.
hooked me up.
Yo,
He
he
hooked
hooks
me
you up
up.
too. That's what's up.
Hell yeah.
Yo, like normally I don't pay attention to chat, but Firestorm just gifted 5 subs and gave one to Dub, who's currently over here.
I'm
So
kind of in love,
yo,
just so you know.
thank you, man. No, you're good, Firestorm. I super appreciate it. He was on
I
the
appreciate it.
Spotlight a few weeks ago. So it was good times. No, you're all good. Don't worry about it. So are they giving any bonuses for cooks now? I was a cook.
Yeah, they actually are.
Yo.
Especially if you have a culinary degree. Oh my god, they will eat that up.
Well,
Oh my god, it's got to the point where my girlfriend at the time, we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary.
Hey, congratulations.
She always said, she's like, hey, you know what? As a backup plan, I was like, I can always be a cook in the Coast Guard. Like, I will show you the way.
Yo, I mean, I'm writing this down right now. Yo,
Coast Guard.
I have a sticky notepad where I write where I write stuff down. Excuse me.
I got you, and you get to and it was even like I've met some pretty cool cooks in the Coast Guard and everything, and they actually get to do like really cool shit. Like you start off as you pretty much will roll in as it's called when you don't have enough time to become a petty officer
Mm-hmm.
in the Coast Guard, which is what I think you're corporal. E4?
Uh, nope. I punched my last E4 in the face, and that kind of stopped my push right then and there.
It's all
It's
good.
hard for so food service is in the Marine Corps is very small, so there's only a certain amount of jobs that open up. Like, and the way it goes is like some master sergeant has to retire, so that way some gunny can get promoted, so some staff sergeant can get promoted, so some sergeant billets open up, so then corporals get promoted. So it's very rough to like to get promoted. Like it's a very very um uh you have to be kind of selfish oriented in
Hmm.
that MOS. It's very
So the crazy thing about like cooks for us and everything is that is if you don't have enough time in, you'll still be you'll be it's called you're rated, but you're still considered like a seaman or a
Mhm.
fireman or anything because you're an E3. So you'll be technically like for us like they changed our the rating name. It's called a CS, so it's culinary specialist.
Mhm.
And usually if you're a boot to A kind of guy, depending on the circumstances, you'll come in as you'll report as a SNCS, so you're rated non-rate basically, which is kind of like it doesn't really make sense, but that's just how we call it. You know the military.
Mhm.
It doesn't anything make sense, and
Yeah.
then you'll put your crows on once you hit your 6 months. But after you like do your after you serve your time as oh, thank you for the host. Once you serve your time as the um what you call it, as your as a E4 and everything, because we're hurting so much for people, like promotion is actually not that bad, and you can start going independent duty in the Coast Guard as a cook as soon as you hit E5.
I mean, like, I could retire before I'm fit. You know what? Enough. Like, whatever. We'll talk offline. I'll probably get in contact with a recruiter if they're hard up for cooks. Cooking was easy in
Yeah, I had a
stupid
buddy.
easy.
I had a buddy who's getting out right now, and he cooked on a ship, a station, went back to his ship, and his last gig before he gets out is he's cooking for an admiral,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
that's as an E6.
yeah. I did a majority of that as an E3. I mean, all of the above. I didn't cook for an admiral, just a general. So I mean, whatever. But
Yeah,
anyways,
it's pretty good gig.
yeah, it's not.
If you can stand cooking and stand like this like because they and that's the thing about being like on a ship and everything. It's like you not only are you the cook, you're the morale.
Yeah,
Like you can
absolutely,
turn the whole fucking day around. And
absolutely.
sometimes staying underway sucks. And you kind of even sometimes you got to work with the weather. Like, hey, man, the seas just picked up. That soup that you planned today for lunch may not be a good idea. What are you gonna switch
Yeah,
that to?
absolutely.
You gotta be going on the fly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's some good stuff to know. Uh, fun fact: I was considering reenlisting in something in one branch or another, but that's here nor there. I don't know. I'm very fond of this beard. I don't know. Uh,
That would be I cannot save you on that one. I could give you a lot of advice and everything, but I'm telling you right now, they're not gonna take you with that.
just trim
You
it
keep the
up just a
mustache
little.
though. Keep the mustache though.
Yeah, I mean, I could keep a combat stash. I've earned it.
Yeah. Yeah. You should 100% keep it.
I don't know. What? Anyways. Uh, okay. So you went to. So where'd you end up? Your first. Oh yeah, first duty station was in
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh man. Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I didn't I hated it when I got there. I was like, this sucks. Screw this.
Yeah.
Like, didn't want to be there and everything. I was like, this is not even close to what I want to do. But
Hmm.
once I got qualified, because like biggest thing when you port in the ship in the Coast Guard,
Yeah.
is you got to get qualified. You got to get you have to get your OOD, which is officer of the day. The person that
Yep.
watches over the ship all day, staying in the duty and everything. And once I got qualified and stuff, it actually ended up not being too bad.
Yeah.
But I only lasted a year there because I went. Once I hit my 6 months, I became a seaman in E3.
Hmm.
I put my name on a list for bosun's mate,
Oh.
and when I put my name on the list, they were actually hard for people. So my list, I was only on the list for 3 months, and I got orders, and
Bam.
I was heading off to Virginia to go
Mm,
to BMA school.
Virginia. Oh.
Yep,
I spent a little bit of time in Virginia. Uh.
nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about nice and all, but
I can feel you on that. There's job opportunities that I look forward to in the future that like kind of like where I want to go,
yeah,
and a lot of them in Virginia. I'm like, same thing how I feel about Jersey. I'm like,
yeah.
I could go be, I think I'm pretty like put together in the military. Like I wouldn't mind like putting in my package to be. We don't have drill sergeants, we have company commanders.
hmm
So you could putting in your CC package, and it's like, oh, that'd be so cool. But I have to live in Jersey.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
just not trying to go northeast. I'm just
yeah,
not.
yeah. Absolutely, 100%
Yeah.
agree. I've been a West Coast guy my entire life. Boot camp, uh, infantry school, stationed. The only time I was actually like East Coast esque was Virginia, where I went to quartermaster school. But yeah, it's not for me. I was there for like 3 months, and it's not. I'm okay. Hard pass, in my opinion. I mean, I think military wise, because you just do stupid shit, and then like you're out in the cold, like doing stupid shit for stupid shit reasons.
Yep.
It's just too old for that. Bones are too hurt for that.
I feel that.
So, okay, so you, for those who don't know, bosun mate, what does that curtail?
So in the bosun mate in the Coast Guard and everything is you're pretty much like you're the go-to guy for quartermaster for you is a lot different from quartermaster for us. Quartermaster for us used to be everything that had to do with navigation, charts,
Yeah.
like the whole shebang and everything. Like they're the kind of guys they're reading stars through an Aldade. The Coast Guard got rid of that, went to the bosun mate rating, so we're everything navigating, everything out on deck. There's one at every unit. We are now we are only the only rating in the Coast Guard, only job in the Coast Guard that can take command. That's not an officer.
hmm
Um, and we also drive all the ships. So other rates can have the opportunity to get underway. I actually on my ship currently, our lead engineer is also a deck watch officer, so he can drive the ship just as much as he fixes it.
Yeah, that's
but
good.
for
Yeah.
both mates, it's expected, and you have to be small boat. Like you can't even make E5 unless you get coxswain. And coxswain for us is knowing how to drive a small boat and all the rules, regulations, policies, and
hmm
skill to do it.
Yeah. Just for those of you who are listening, like, and are in other branches, I know a lot of stuff he's saying sounds dirty, but it's absolutely not. So just because I know there's some people out there who have the same Marine Corps mentality as myself, coxswain and seaman, these are actual legit military terms. These aren't just like, you know, he's asking me out on a date type stuff.
Oh, it gets. I mean, the terms either sound the terms in the Coast Guard either sound sexual or they are very misleading. Like, do you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll,
absolutely.
I'll I'll tell you one that's really good, and it actually has to do with the cook rating. Only the cooks. Well, now I won't say only the cooks, but majority of the cooks are the masters at arms on ships. They're the MAAs.
That's funny.
And
Yeah.
it sounds like it's guns, right?
hmm
Nope.
Nope.
Cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
MA is in charge of cleaning supplies.
There you go.
Like
Uh,
the dumbest shit ever.
yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you want to be different, and you end up being too different. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's exciting. So 3 months, you were on the list for about 3 months for
Yep.
bosun, and then so where did that take you?
So I was there for about a year. When I left, I went to Virginia and I started 14 weeks of BMA school.
Mhm.
Pretty much the first 9 of the weeks was basically learning how to be a good petty officer. All like the nautical charts, which is like basically a map of the water.
Mhm.
Learning how to do charts, and there's actually a lot that goes into that, like showing how to like navigating, like basically like keeping the ship safe via paper, how to track the ship's position, all that crazy stuff. So knowing to do learning how to do all that for the first 8 or 9 weeks and everything. We actually did our picks at the time too, um, for our next units, and then the last 4 weeks is they take us down to the Yorktown River, and we start our small boat training, which is basically how to drive and everything, how to be, you know, how to like take charge of a small boat and everything. Because in the Navy, even if you're a cox in the Navy, there's still an O that's above you telling you what to do.
Mhm.
In the Coast Guard, when as soon as you like once you get qualified as coxswain, like you're in charge of the ship. That's your ship. That's your crew. You're responsible for the ship. You're responsible for the crew.
Hmm.
And on incidents and everything, when like I've been on some couple big incidents, and I've been out there with the Coast Guard ship and everything. For use that for the people that know it, you become the on scene commander too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we.
Those are
Oh, go ahead.
I say like those are for like more like big disasters and everything, but it's a mindset you have to have like these like you because the cool thing about the Coast Guard is you have usually have really good relationships with local law enforcement, PD, and other federal branches and everything. And a lot of times they're out there looking at you like, what do you want us to do to help you?
Yeah.
And you have to be able to take charge.
Yeah. I think we talked about that. We were just playing some Destiny. I don't think we were like doing anything, but we were chit chatting about that one time.
Mm-hmm.
It could be pretty intense because it's like you've got all these people standing around and you're like, oh shit, I'm in charge here. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a little bit of life experience and everything, but in reality, it could be, bosun mate was a quick rate at the time and everything, so you could have somebody that's fresh out of high school, went to their first unit, got BM and everything, turned around, went to their first unit. Coxswain takes a while and everything because it is a very important role, so it could take up to 6 to 8 months to get fully qualified on it, and that's where we're working at it really hard. So you
Yeah.
have somebody that could be 20 years old running a scene that could be pretty disastrous. Crazy shit happens at sea
Yeah.
until somebody takes over. If there is somebody else that takes over, because when you go out there, you might be the only Coast Guard unit for miles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking like a couple miles. I'm talking like
Hundreds of miles. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We cover the coast, but we're spread out.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm in a landlocked state, and there's Coast Guard out here too. Like.
Yeah, there you go. See,
So
we're everywhere.
yeah, well, because there's a river that goes across the entire state, so it's a pretty big river at some points too. But yeah, so the Coast Guard is absolutely everywhere. Like I know a lot of branches make fun of, well, we make fun of all of each other all the time. It's required.
It's our God-given right.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. It was just one of those things. When I signed the paper, it said, you got to make fun of the Air Force and the Navy and the Army, and we'll add the Coast Guard as a branch later. Like it was at the bottom of the paper, like fine print type stuff. But
do you think that we came in above Space Force, or were we below Space Force?
Oh, I think you guys are above Space Force.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the fact that, I don't know, it's rough. But I mean, you guys are being mentioned in the same sentence as Space Force, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah, I'll be there.
But yeah, the Coast Guard actually is like across the United States. Like it's insane when you think about it. Actually, how many Coast Guard units there are spread across the country? Like I'm sure there's one in Kansas, or let's see, what's another state? Arkansas. I'm sure there's one in there. What are you going to do in Arkansas?
Something.
But I mean, like those are some things that you never take into consideration. Is that like yeah, you've got the forts for the Army, and then the Marine Corps and stuff like that, like these big places. But I mean, besides the Army, I'd say probably there's as many Coast Guard units as like say the Air Force, spread across the country. They're all over the place. Just people don't. When you think of Coast Guard, you're thinking of like those in the middle of the ocean rescues, type stuff. Whereas that's not that's not true at all. It's quite, the job description does not fit the actual job that the Coast Guard does. And I've learned this over I don't know, like the last 6 or 7 years, meeting more vets and stuff. And when they talk about being in the Coast Guard, everybody laughs. And then they talk about, what they do. And you're like, oh shit, you guys do more than just like hang out and do nothing,
I still find out every day what more people do in the Coast Guard. Somebody in my chat said that Space Force, is the coolest though.
Space
And
space.
just a funny fact though. Fun fact though. I don't know if it's still true anymore, but you had to go when you went onto the Space Force page and clicked to find a recruiter. They linked you to the Air Force page. I'm just saying,
That's funny.
false advertising.
Yeah, they won't. They won't let Marines. They won't let Marines be in the Space Force. They've already said it. Because if a Marine makes first contact, he's either gonna try to fuck the alien or try to kill it, one or the other. So Marines aren't allowed to be in the Space Force. That's what I.
Oh
That's what
my
I heard. You
god,
know.
that's so fucking
Yeah.
perfect.
So true story. True story.
All right, so coming off of that, so I passed.
Yeah. What a
I,
segue,
pa-
huh?
I know I passed. I passed A school. I became. I became a what we go by. We call by go by rate and rank.
Hmm.
So, I was a petty officer, third class,
Hmm.
E4. I was a bosun's mate. So, somebody would call me a BM3. So I made BM3, and I was off to Puerto Rico
Hey.
for my first duty station on one of our fast response cutters, which was
Hmm.
a newer boat that was still getting introduced to the fleet because somebody started liking us up in Washington and it said like, hey, we need to start giving these guys boats because
Hmm.
they're still using things from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So we finally started redoing our fleet. So our our small cutter fleet is still getting revamped. Our large cutter fleet, there are a couple ships and everything, and the first basically like medium size cutter to replace all of our 210s and 270s. When I say that, I mean we recognize our cutters by the length of the ship.
Okay.
Unless they have a fancy name on them. But the old school boats not fancy names; they're just called by the length. So our 210s and 270s and 378s are all they were all from like the 60s, 70s and everything. They're just
Yeah.
finally getting a break in the first medium. They call it for us. They're calling it OPC, offshore patrol cutter. Um, they will be the first one actually to be coming down here, SoCal. So
Hey.
pretty excited about that. It'd be
It's
really
awesome.
cool to see. Actually, we'll be coming to the same base that I'm at, but I'm on an FRC, which is a 154. And the reason that we're special is because we are a ship, but we're a ship that can go fast and we
Yeah.
can respond to certain things quickly. And both in Puerto Rico and where I am now, which is things I learned in the Coast Guard that I never knew before and everything
Yeah.
was my main missions were search and rescue because we're always going to be no matter what you're doing, search and rescue is always priority. But both in Puerto Rico and where I am at now, I did a lot of counter drug and a lot of counter migrant.
Mm.
I was in Puerto Rico and actually was there before and after wet foot, dry foot. So I
Mm.
did a lot with I was there for a lot of the Cuban immigration.
Mm. Okay. Wow.
For
It's
those of you guys who
exciting.
know what
Yeah.
wet foot, dry foot is that when if a Cuban native makes it onto a U.S. territory or to the United States, they are granted citizenship. So it was supposed to be a way for people to be able to travel to America and be safe from the Cuban communism, but it kind of turned into then it became a smuggling thing,
Yeah.
and that's not where it was supposed to be and everything. So the Coast Guard was basically in charge of trying to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's exciting. I mean,
Yeah,
you don't think about stopping, drug trafficking as Coast Guard. Like, yet again, fun fact about Coast Guard is, it's not just hanging out.
yeah,
That's pretty crazy. That's awesome.
yeah.
Um,
And so I lived there for 2 years and everything, and it took me to get to my third unit to actually do what I wanted to do when I joined the Coast Guard, which is go to a
yeah,
small boat station and save lives.
yeah, that's awesome.
So after Puerto Rico, I went to Florida. I was
Hmm.
stationed there for 2 years, and I actually got to drive small boats, go rescue people, be in charge of crazy scenes, make crazy rescues and everything, and make stories to tell.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, speaking of stories to tell, what kind of crazy stories do you have from? Well, I mean, choose you name it. Like what kind of you got any crazy stories from Puerto Rico
Let's see, Puerto Rico.
that you can talk about? I know it.
Uh,
There's a statute
as
of
long as
limitation.
yeah, stuff in the past isn't that big of a deal. Craziest things in Puerto Rico had to be. Let me think. There's a couple things. one of the weirder things is we were off the coast of St. Lucia,
Hmm.
and we didn't know that the St. Lucia Coast Guard was looking for these guys that had taken off from I think it was one of the neighboring islands,
Hmm.
and we're on the way back to St. Lucia, and they just haven't been around. The Coast Guard would take it a lot more seriously if they were, actual like if they were coming from America, because we have programs in place for people that have we're supposed to be somewhere and haven't been seen, blah blah blah. But St. Lucia just had no idea who these people are, and we were just cruising along and everything. And our cook goes outside to take out the trash, and he just looks out. There's a guy waving at him,
Yeah.
and it was like it goes up to the bridge. It's like because our exo was on watch at the time, and our exo was like, "Hey, there's some guys out there in a really tiny boat waving at me." These guys have been out there for like 2.5 days.
Wow.
Just drifting because their engine had died and they were too far for cell service.
Yeah.
And if we didn't, and they weren't by shipping lanes, so if we didn't come across them at that time, I don't know if they would have made it or anything.
That's crazy. That's
When
crazy.
it
Wow.
when it comes to for counter drug and everything, we were having we were in rough water and everything. And we had a boat that just made a drop at in a location, and they were trying to run back to their home country, and our small boat was having a lot of trouble putting disabling fire on them. So they were disabling fire, meaning putting with you have these copper sable slugs. It's like shooting a copper marble out of
Yeah.
a shotgun through an engine block to try to stop it. Because we do non-compliant vessel pursuits and everything. So basically, like, how are you going to stop this boat when it says I'm not stopping?
Yeah.
And it was really hard to get in like a safe position for something. So the cutter was like, "Okay, cool, we're gonna help out," and the cutter comes up to full speed and just starts whipping hard to port and starboard in front of this boat, just creating these massive walls
Yeah.
of wake and just
Yeah.
making this guy's life miserable until he stopped.
Yeah. That's great.
And because he couldn't go faster than our cutter, but was being evasive enough. But it's okay, man. You know, if you run into us, that's gonna hurt you. We're
Yeah,
not gonna feel it.
absolutely.
It's like a fly hitting a wall with the
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah.
So that was a
Oh,
good one.
that's great.
Other than that, though, I wasn't really there. We really weren't there long enough.
Yeah.
The boat we had a lot of actually issues with our boat at the time, so we did a lot of things. But the coolest thing I got to do was I got to go to a lot of places. Most of our most of our cases and everything was things that were based off of like intel kind of things, and we made stops and seizures and everything based off of intel, which is nice because if, the one thing that I will always say is that, and is the thing that people like don't understand, especially when they get to law enforcement and everything, especially if you're doing anything federal like this, is people are like, oh yeah, like if the cartel, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this, but basically like the cartel is not stupid.
Yeah.
Like when they're like smuggling things to America, it's like, oh, these idiots got caught and everything. I'm like, they're not fucking stupid.
Yeah.
They
Just yeah.
the things that the things that people go through to smuggle illegal people or illegal like drugs or narcotics in the United States and everything, it's pretty incredible. And we always have to change up our strats, always have to change up
Mhm.
what we're looking for and everything just to stay parallel to them.
Yeah. It's a constant game of cat and mouse.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
So okay, so let's see. So Florida. Oh man. Florida. Everybody hears about Florida.
Yeah.
How was your time in Florida?
I loved it there. I lived over in the Tampa area, and it was everything I wanted to be. It was my first pick coming out of as my first pick coming out of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I actually transferred there with a buddy that was on my ship as well, so we were super pumped for it and everything. I got there, I got qualified as soon as I could, so I could start running the boats and everything, taking the boat out and everything. And the Coast Guard station is basically kind of treated like almost like to a fire station. We do extra shit like we'll go out, we'll patrol like parties and everything. We'll do events and everything because that's when things tend to happen. So it's nicer to be closer from there than launching for there.
Yeah.
But when we're not out patrolling and everything, like we are on 48 and 72-hour shifts there, with two
Hmm.
crews swapping out.
Yeah.
So like on a long week, you work Monday and Tuesday 48 hours. You have Wednesday and Thursday off, and you work the weekend 72 hours. and then your short week you only work Wednesday and Thursday, 48 hours.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a nice schedule. Some people don't like it. I think it's a great schedule.
Yeah.
I love it. But I also love being there and everything. I love the camaraderie. We stayed really active there when we were on downtime. Like it was Florida, so it was sunny a lot. So it was easy to like go outside and do things and everything when we weren't on duty and not working. Um, and yeah, and do all that. But on the emergency side of the house, it was almost treated like a fire station. Like we had a watchstander that was in the radio room that was in contact with somebody at the um kind of like how like the structure of the Coast Guard works is you have like headquarters in Washington. You have your districts that are separated by regions, and those regions break down to sectors. So like bases are kind of people confuse our sectors for bases,
Yeah.
and that's where like you'll have like three to like 10, depending on like the area, 3 to 10 stations all connected to that one sector. So
Mhm.
like you have always people there in their radio room. So you got people in the radio room there, you have people at the radio room at the station, and basically, if a call comes in, or if the call comes in over the radio and it's in your area responsibility,
Yeah.
or the sector launches you launch like a fire station. Like the alarms go off and everything.
Yeah.
We call it the SAR alarm, search and rescue alarm. So
Mhm.
SAR alarm goes off, and we figure out where the location is, what's going on. We get a crew together. We're in the boat, gone in like 5-10 minutes.
Hmm.
We're not as fast as a fire station because you got to power up the boat and everything, and get everybody in the boat. But I've had times where I'm out in there like 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Super quick, in and out.
Yeah. So yep, and yeah, then we launched for our area and everything. Um, the crazy thing about where that area was is that you had a lot of over here in SoCal, like everything's pretty much just offshore in the Pacific. But over there in Florida, you have the intercoastal waterways. So you
Mhm.
have like inshore waters and you have offshore waters.
Yeah.
So shit was always happening all the time, but it also made it like really fun to be there. Um, but while I was there, I had some of my craziest cases. I went out and I picked up a woman off of a motor yacht that was having a stroke. And I picked her up at about 28 miles offshore.
Jeez.
And I, one thing before that is like, I've always like, there's always people that like shitbag our rate kind of. And, those people are, looked down upon and everything. But I've
Mhm.
always been like a really adamant about training people. I love training. It makes me better. It makes them better at getting qualified, and it makes me better because
Yeah.
I'm always like I'm always like what's kind of like going back over everything that I like, all the basics that I'm supposed to know, reasserting them and putting this into like
Yeah.
helping them with this next person, so that way I can help them out and everything. And I was about yeah and we had like a lot of coverage, a lot of rain and everything, and I go up to this boat, and it's his father and daughter, and the dad's like losing it. He doesn't know what the hell to do. So his wife is just laying there, doesn't know what's going on and everything. And I'm also an EMT also, so it was really hard to kind of like try to help out with anything while being I'm the cox of the boat. I'm also the EMT,
Yeah.
so that was kind of like what job is more important and everything. So I had somebody else take the wheel and everything for a second. I kind of looked from my boat because I couldn't leave, because if anything has happened, I need to be on board.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
kind I take a look and everything, and I'm like, we need to load and go, load and go. I was like, bring out the Stokes litter, which is basically our version of a floating stretcher.
Yeah.
It can be used to float, but you really don't want it to do.
Yeah.
And in 7 foot swells, I passed a woman on a stretcher from boat to boat,
Jeez.
and gunned it to shore at full speed, with the fire department waiting for me. Had to pier to take her off, and she ended up living.
Oh,
The
that's great. Yeah.
once I got on course
Ooh.
and everything, I passed the wheel to one of my other crew members who I knew was a competent driver. I went and did basic vitals and everything. Passed all the information I could pass up to my sector, who passed it on to a flight surgeon, because um, with us acting as a SAR unit, we could it's not really much with our boats. The best thing I could do for a boat is I can go grab a paramedic from a local fire station and take him with me. But when you launch for the helicopter, a helicopter has the choice of taking 3 to 5 people, and you can only take 2 at a time. So if anything is happening, I need to be on board. So I take the look and everything, and I'm like, we need to load and go, load and go. I was like, bring out the Stokes litter, which is basically our version of a of a floating Every rescue swimmer is an EMT. They could take a health services technician, which is our version of like a clinic worker,
Mhm.
who have more qualifications than that. They could take a flight nurse, or they could take a flight surgeon,
Mhm.
and flight surgeons can do, God only knows in those helicopters. I'm kind of
Yeah.
limited, but I had the speed on my side.
Yeah, enough. You knew enough in the moment to do what needed to be done, short term. Like first response. That was
Yep.
your. That's what you did what you needed to do, and
Hmm.
that's crazy. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's great. Um, so
Couple other I have, I could go on for days. I could go on for
yeah,
days
yeah.
with stories like we like pulling like a what like there we had a overdosed woman who was ran from the sheriffs and ran into the water, and started swimming out because she wanted to swim out all the way to the end. And so
Yeah,
it was like, so
the end of the
some of these,
world.
yeah. So like, lots, unfortunately, just like the fire department, Coast Guard gets a lot of false calls too and everything. And it was like, hey, we have a person to water off this beach and everything. I was like, yeah, it was a certain beach in the area. Was like, okay, there's a lot of false calls over there. People will think a crab pot bobbing in the water
Is somebody?
is
Yeah,
somebody. And it
yeah,
was like, and I was like, okay, like who's calling in? The sheriff. Okay, it's legit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And within minutes, I'm searching for a woman who actually made pretty good distance, and I'm pulling up to uh, for some reason, she also ripped all her clothes off. And I'm pulling up to a face down naked woman
Mm.
in the water. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, all right, I'll call it in, because I just kind of figure the worst,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I call her in and everything, and they get her up on deck and everything, and I was like, and I look at her, I'm like, man, she's not really like that discolored and everything, like I was like. I was like, start CPR. Like, just start CPR. We gotta get her to land and everything. I'm like, I'm not calling it yet.
Yeah,
I'm just because I was gonna. Obviously, I can't call the time of death and everything, but I was like, look, like this is what I'm looking at right now.
yeah.
And there's this girl. This was her first case with me. Just got qualified, her first case, and she just starts CPR and everything. And a couple pushes, couple pushes. The woman
Oh.
takes her first breath, and she's like, "Oh my god, she's alive!"
That's great.
I'm like, "Thank God!" I was like, "We're headed
Oh,
to the pier now."
that's
Her
great.
first case.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah,
Oh my
I couldn't
god.
even imagine. Like, I'd love to hear her story in the side from that point of view. As like, this is the first thing I've ever done, and this crazy crackhead lady, and then like she just sat up alive. Like, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
After just pretty much pulling out like a
Yeah,
fucking dead weight body out of the water. And I was like, it was definitely a good ending, but
yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's one of those things where it's just like a lot of it's like, the fire department and everything is like, you're never gonna have to do the same thing twice in a day.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, absolutely.
I've towed a boat. I went out. I was there for Irma, so we, of course, everybody's trying to sail offshore to ride out the storm and everything, and we had to go 80 miles offshore in a small boat, which
Hmm.
is very far, and
Yeah.
pretty much had to forcibly remove a guy from vessel. He was like, oh, like he called for help and everything because his mast of his sailboat had broken, and he was drifting and
Mm.
everything, and he was like, hey, like, I want you guys to tow me to shore. I'm like, we're 80 miles off. I'm like, we're here for you.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
didn't like that answer.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Yeah.
here for you, and we're going back because you're putting us at risk now, because it's going to take a while for us to get back, and Irma's coming.
Yeah.
So basically, it had to almost quite literally force this person off of their ship and everything against their better interests, and he had a very, very salty ride home, knowing that
Oh,
he's
I
probably
bet.
never going to see a sailboat again. But that's
Yeah.
not our, we try to save property and everything if we can, but lives mean more.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're not there to save his. You're not there to come up and rescue his poor decisions. You're there to rescue.
Exactly.
You're there to rescue him. And that's,
Yeah. But you know what? In realize though, and like, shit happens and everything, but poor decisions are the reason I have a job.
yeah, absolutely, definitely, yeah, absolutely. So you were in Florida for how long were you in Florida for?
2 years.
2 years. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I was supposed to be there for 4, but I ranked up. I made E5 at the time, and my billet was no longer available to me. So they're like, you need to go
Hmm.
somewhere else.
Now, does it
So
do certain billets go by they're only available at certain ranks, or did the Coast Guard change the billet while you were in it?
no, so I went there and filled Bosa's mate third class billet. And if the billet, when I made E5, if the billet above me was either going to be switched out soon or it was available, I could fleet up to that next billet
Hmm.
with that rank and everything.
Yeah.
But that next billet above me was full,
Hmm.
and the one that I was currently in was being shopped out to somebody else.
Okay.
And I kind of was just like stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And did all my picks and everything, and I ended up in the West Coast on another cutter
Hmm.
that was it's the exact same class of the one I was in Puerto Rico. So it was kind of like a nice thing. 'Cause I was like, okay, I get to go to a new place,
Familiar.
but I get to be on something familiar. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
And then so how long have you been in um, Southern California?
I've been here for 2 years, and I'm on my last year here now.
Yeah. Now, are you going to stay, or are you going to try
Uh,
to move somewhere else?
I plan on re-enlisting, and I plan to go back to the East Coast. I
Hmm.
really would like to go back to Florida and continue and go back to basically uh, doing like search and rescue and everything on a small boat station.
Yeah. So
But
is that
I would like to go to Southern Florida because down in Southern Florida is where still have a lot of heavy law enforcement too. Because since I've been in Puerto Rico and SoCal, I've really gotten to the law enforcement side of the house, and I
Mhm.
actually enjoy it. It wasn't what I got in for, but I really enjoy it. So
Yeah.
be able to do the best of both worlds would be huge for me. So
Hmm.
Southern California, I mean Southern Florida would be like a big one for me, like Miami area and stuff.
Hmm. Now, are you looking to go there? Like, um, so you're currently in E6,
E5.
E5.
Hmm.
Are you looking to like? Is that one of those promotion move things, or are you just trying to go? Just.
Because so like basically everything in the Coast Guard is based off of a billet. So, um, if you go to like a cutter like I'm on, it's usually a 3 year billet. If you go to a small boat station, it's a 4 year billet. And if you're on any kind of tactical team, which we can talk about here in a little bit, but
Sure.
tactical teams could be anywhere between 4 to 6 years, just because the amount of training that you're given.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
So, once you fulfill that billet, you could have the chance to extend there. You could you could leave that area. But I want to say that advancing does not hurt you all the time, but sometimes it could hurt you if you can't like if you're like if I'm in like my third year of my billet right now.
Hmm.
If I had made E6 tomorrow, they will most likely let me finish off the rest of my time here, finish off my billet, and then I would be transferring as an E6. Um, but if you're like at the station, I wasn't even halfway through my term there, and I made E5, so it was like there was no room for me. The billets were being filled. Nothing was gonna be opening anytime soon, so it was like, okay, you need to transfer somewhere else.
Mm. Okay. So it's kind of it can be good, it can be bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. So I think we talked about it. I don't know, can you if you can talk about it, you're getting ready to leave, right?
Yes. So I could talk a little bit about it,
Yeah. Well,
but
OPSEC stuff, but I mean,
yeah, OPSEC stuff and everything. So I'm pretty blessed with these FRCs. They don't do super long deployments as some of my shipmates on bigger cutters and everything. But every once in a while, a big deployment comes across the desk and everything, and we got to do it, to fulfill our fulfill our terms and everything.
yeah.
But we're basically like going out to support bigger cutters as
Hmm.
a faster moving asset. Um, and it's not exactly like the Navy where you have like a strike squad. What do they call it? A strike squad? No, probably wrong about that. A strike group.
Hmm.
Strike group. It's not like that and everything. Like we won't be like in formation and everything, but we'll be around each other, supporting each other and everything.
Hmm.
But it's basically just to get like an upper hand on some things that I've come across, like along with our mission terms. And we get to work with a lot of other agencies too, which is really nice. So
Hmm.
It's basically like with OPSEC and everything, it's basically like a joint force kind of plan.
Mhm.
So you're working with other Coast Guard assets, you're working with other federal assets and agencies. So it's a big opportunity too. But when you're not on it yet and you just are kind of sitting here, you're like, damn, I'm gonna be gone for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So, roughly, you're going to be gone for months, right?
Yeah, I'll be gone for about a month and a half.
Month and a half. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
Now, is this your first like long like? Ow! I just ran over my toe. Oh, is this your first long like deployment type thing? Like long term?
Uh, no, the longest I've done out at sea, well, not in a row, but the longest I've done on a deployment was 50 days. We do pull in and do port calls and everything. That's the
Hmm.
cool thing about being in a naval type service like the Navy or the Coast Guard is cool thing is while you're working you get to travel the world, see everything type of thing.
Yeah.
So but the what you call it, the deployment is not as bad. I've been on a 50-day and everything. I am very blessed, knock on wood, that I will not be on any of on the larger boats that go out for this would be considered a short patrol for them.
Hmm. Yeah.
So we have some of our bigger boats and everything. They can go out 4 months at a time.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Coast Guard is, and this is the thing where I talk about like how it's like it is veered towards family and everything. It's like, hey, like yeah, like those guys have to go out for like 4 months and everything, but they get just as much time off. So like the same amount of the Coast Guard is based off of hours.
Hmm.
So the same amount of hours that a boat like mine that's 154 feet have to accomplish is the same amount that a boat like that, which is about I think our biggest boat right now that could do law enforcement is we're not talking about the Antarctic weird
Yeah.
boats out
Yeah.
there in the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Those are 418 feet long, but they accommodate a lot more too. They
Yeah.
got gyms on board, they got all that stuff and everything. They go out for this. They still are expected to get around the same hours as us
Hmm.
each year. They just do it in different like
In
time
one
frames.
chunk.
They do like they'll do like one or two big chunks and be done for the year. We do a bunch of little chunks.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing about that's the nice thing about the military is that like they kind of it's usually like whatever you give you get back out of it. Like
Hmm.
hey, if we're out for 4 months, we're gonna be in for the next 4 months. Like
Yeah.
you'll still have work days and everything, but that's the time to be home at night when you're not on duty. Opportunities to take leave.
Hmm.
Do the family thing. They
Yeah.
because they and then like not only like you were talking about how like how many like units are around the Coast Guard and everything. Like every time you move to a unit, they're bringing your family with you,
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
and
Definitely.
that's like that's even if if you move from San Diego to L.A. or something, which is only like an hour and a half drive, they're gonna move your family with you.
Theoretically, it's an hour and a half drive. In actuality, it's a good 4 or 5 hours, easy. I was
Definitely depends on the time of day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you drive in the middle of the nighttime. Yeah. There's still gonna be traffic. I was stationed in San Diego. Yeah. L.A. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be there. I wouldn't want to be stationed in L.A. for anything at all. No, thank you.
Yeah, I
There's
feel that.
Yeah.
That's
So
to say, yeah, that's how I feel like that's like one of those things where it's like, you always like, always give praise or you're like, hey, I'll buy that beer for the guys that get stationed up there because I don't want to be there, but I'm
yeah,
glad he's there. That's how I feel
yeah.
about my big boat people. And I'm like, if you have a friend that's on a big boat, I was like, be happy with them, give them praise, buy them a beer and everything, because as long as they love being on big boats, you don't have to be.
Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
people that are
Yeah.
the same rate and rank as you, because those are people that are filling the boats that you don't want.
Yeah, that could be you. It's
Yeah,
not, but it
exactly.
could be.
Oh, and there's people in the Coast Guard. Like another weird unit in the Coast Guard is surf units. And surf units, like I am not interested in surf units at all. Like heavy weather is fun, but going into a surf zone with a boat and having a wall of water go over you and come out the other side, people think that's so awesome. I think that's terrifying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's
It's
people that are those stations. They go out. They're like, hey, there's 25-foot breakers offshore. Let's go train. And I'm like, no.
yeah. Yeah. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like one of like the like when you're a coxswain and everything. So like you could be like a basic coxswain, you could be a tactical coxswain, you could be a pursuit coxswain. But like the guys that get like they're the guys that get like their own number branded to them. is surfmen, and surfmen and surf women. Those are coxswain qualifications that take years to accomplish, because like you have to have such an in tune, like you have to have such a like a way with the waves and everything to be able to take a boat into breaking surf, breaking most worst weather ever, especially near shore, and be like, I got this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's another level of confidence to be able to like look out into something that is changing every second and be like, yeah, sure, I got it. No, whatever, we'll get there.
Yeah, even watching like those training videos, like because some of those guys like to boost themselves up, and they'll put like YouTube videos out there, especially like the big stations and everything. And what you call it, they'll just be like, they're just going out there, and like they are like literally looking up at the wall of water. I'm like, no, no, I'm good.
Yeah, thanks, thanks, but no thanks.
Exactly.
It doesn't sound like a good time to me.
No, definitely not.
That's crazy.
Um,
Oh,
so what else? And what else? What else? And then the other thing I was going to, since we're talking about weird units, is that, and these are something I actually just learned
mhm.
over the past couple of years, is that and people are going to be like, "Phew." So I don't, if you've been if you've been following the news at all and everything, you probably know that the Coast Guard is stationed out of out of the naval base out of Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and we have that's like considered like a deployment for us in the Coast Guard and everything. You
Mhm.
go over there for a year and everything. You support the naval fleet out there. You deal with all the crazy Iranian speedboats and everything. Like it's a shit show.
Mhm.
They're the ones that are cutting off like the Navy boats and everything. Coast Guard and Navy are firing warning shots at them to keep them within. And like literally, it's not even like to start like a war or something, but it's literally just like, could you like please like go with the rules of navigation,
Mhm.
like like the navigational rules, like it's literally like the biggest bread and butter of the Coast Guard and the Navy, and then you got somebody that just crosses your bow and rips you. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, it takes me about like half a mile to stop an aircraft carrier. Let's not cut my bow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the craziest shit over there. So not only do we go over to Bahrain for year deployments and everything, the other one that we have now is we have our MSRT units, and those are our maritime safety and response teams. So those are guys that train with the Navy and more of like the Navy Special Forces teams,
Mhm.
and they go out on deployments. And those are the guys that are putting in like 6 to 8 years of these units. Those are probably the longest billets, and those are the guys that are going out and like doing the stuff that you were like, the Coast Guard does what?
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
we're talking about like they're like the best things between like I would say if you crossed like a low level Navy SEAL with like a low level PJ for the Air Force, you kind of get an MSRT guy.
Yeah.
And it's wild. And they're used across, they're not only used across the Coast Guard, they're used across the entire military branches. Like everybody gets a little piece of them.
Yeah.
Like they train with everybody, they go out with everybody, and it's just like things that are just like, wow, like that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But then they're deployed. They literally deploy out the worst places though. Like
Yeah.
we're like, going back to our Virginia conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely.
I'm like, why? Like that sounds so cool, but why does it have to be in Virginia?
Yeah. Well, they gotta they gotta keep miserable. If they
I
were
guess
happy,
so.
they wouldn't be as effective. You know.
I guess so.
If you were stationed in Hawaii, I mean, what would give you the driving force to just like do crazy stuff? You're in
Yeah,
Hawaii.
that's true.
You know.
It's funny. I actually just had a buddy that was staying with me over here, who was transferring to Hawaii, and he's just like, man, I'm kind of he's born and raised in Mass, so he was like, man, this is gonna be really fucking
Ooh,
far. Like,
culture shock.
and he was stationed with me in Florida,
Hmm.
and it only took him about 2 weeks there. He's like, I'm never leaving.
Yeah. Yeah. You get in one of those places that you're comfortable with, and you never want to leave.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
that's kind of how it was when I'm from California. I spent most of my life in California, and then I got stationed in California, and it was one of those things where it's like, this is great, this is perfect, I
Right.
like it. And an hour flight from home, and but far enough away to where like I don't have to worry about anything.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. So future plans, like how do you know where you're gonna go from? Like here, are you gonna try to do 20? You gonna?
So the from here, I'm on my last year at this billet.
Yeah.
Usually around like 6 to 7 months before you're about to leave, you get to see like what billets are available, and the Coast Guard has detailers for every single rate. And when you kind of see like you pretty much like you take a list and you see what billets are out, and then
Mhm.
you take your sheet and you fill out. If next year when I transfer, I would like to go to these billets one through whatever, and you rank them.
Yeah.
So if nobody and if the and like if what pick you get is all based on your experience, what you've done. If you need something for advancement, they'll look at that. Like if you're like if what you call it, if you're let's say like if you're a bosun's mate and you can't get on a cutter and you need seat time to advance to your next rank, then the detail would be like, okay, you need to go to a cutter, you need seat time, let's get you on a cutter, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Or it could just be off of your priority. You get a priority associated with every unit. If you deploy over in the sand, you get a higher priority than somebody who is going for their 48, 72-hour duty shifts in Florida.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It makes
So,
sense. I mean, it's just like any other branch where it's the needs of the military, but
mhm,
it kind of. I mean, it's also like your military resume. Like
yeah,
where have you been? What have you done? What where could we use you? And what do we need for specific job?
exactly.
So
So
okay.
from there, I would like to go back to Florida
Yeah.
and go back landside. I'll
Hmm.
already have more sea time than I've already have wanted, but at this point, I've already had
Yeah.
more sea time than I've wanted. I'm planning. I would like to go back and actually do more of the search and rescue side of the house. Like I said, do some law enforcement. I would like to buy a house
Yeah.
because I definitely was looking to buy a house before I moved to California, and I was like, when I got here, I'm like,
Mm,
I'll wait.
yeah. It's pretty expensive in California
Yeah, the housing
for
market is
housing.
not too friendly. So wait on that and everything. And once I'm there, I'll be at almost going on 9.
Hmm.
So my plan is so because I'm a bosun's mate, we are the only rate that's unlisted rate that can take command. So
Yeah.
basically, like once you get to like E6, which is a petty officer first class, or E7, which is a chief,
Hmm.
they're kind of looking at you like, okay, like the same thing. Like people are looking at me like, are you going to stay in? They're looking at me like, are you going to take command or what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And it's like I really like training and everything, but I've just never seen myself in like a command position. Maybe that will change after a couple more
Hmm.
years, but I like being that grunt. Like I like going out in the missions.
Getting dirty. Yeah.
I like sitting there with the crew.
Yeah.
I like sitting with the crew. I like going on the missions. I like doing the cases and everything. I don't want to be the guy that looks at the after action report
Mhm.
like, huh, that was cool. Wish
So
I was there. Like,
yeah.
no, please, like God, no. That's why I like um it's kind of like a two-way street. It's like I'm kind of seeing people that I've been like kind of like parallel with for some
Hmm.
of my career that are already E6, but in their type of job or their type of rate, it would benefit them a lot. Where
Hmm.
for me, if I say like if I made E6 on a cutter, I would still kind of be like just important enough to not have to do like the really grunt work, but not too important where like they're like, hey, you need to come to this meeting about blah 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 or do this amount of paperwork and everything. But
Hmm.
at station, when you go to a different unit that has a different command structure, you might be important enough to be like, hey, like you're going to do like admin or you're going to do just training. Like I don't mind doing training, but I don't want to do just training. Like so it's kind of like I haven't really been rushing to E6. Like E5 is like for my rate is like a really nice place to sit.
It's a nice comfort area.
And it's like I'm just important enough to like where I make larger decisions and I have like the important roles in the boat, but I'm not too important where it's like I can still, I don't have to sit there and look at a computer screen for 2 hours to get my job done.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm in that like wiggle area where it's like, where do I go after
Hmm.
this?
Now, so if you end up getting, promoted to E6, so you think that will change? You'll start transitioning into the more of a admin type role instead of a more of like, uh, like you said, getting kind of getting your hands dirty type
It could happen. It's not like a guarantee and everything. It is a lot to be based on that person and everything,
Hmm.
and like, but it comes to, and then but like the thing that we always look at is like the needs of the service and like the needs of that unit.
Yeah.
So if that unit needs a guy in the background, if they need an E6 in the background, which is usually gonna be a bosun's mate,
Yeah.
and that person needs to sit there and do what ops plans, do training plans. They need to be the voice of the command and everything. And at that rate, they also expect you to start looking at being an executive petty officer and looking at being an officer in charge of places. And there's that guys that like that they look at that their whole career. And there's some
Yeah.
guys that just want to be that veteran, salty bosun mate that everybody trusts. And I think
Yeah.
that's my role. So,
Yeah.
um, will I do 20? Yes.
There you go.
Will I do 20 active duty? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of goes off of that. I've always I've never been completely like Coast Guard, Coast Guard, Coast Guard, Coast Guard's my life, Coast Guard's everything. I will only do Coast Guard. Like while I was in Florida, I got my captain's license. I'm looking now that since the pandemic and everything, a lot of things happen online. I would really want to get my paramedic license. Like I'm always looking for opportunities I could do outside of the outside of the Coast Guard too.
Hmm.
Because if worse comes to worse, I obviously want to go back to Florida. I want to go do the job and everything, but there's also a lot of reservist opportunities in Florida because reservists are mainly focused at TAC units, they're focused at stations, and they're focused at sectors.
Hmm.
The cutters don't do reservists. Like you're either on the ship or you're not. Like
Yeah.
you're really fully committed to ship or you're not. Um,
Yeah.
there's there's loopholes for that for certain reasons, but we'll just go with the general. Um,
Sure.
so Florida would be a good place to transition with if what I'm thinking, if what I want and what the Coast Guard wants don't align. And I would like to be I've dealt with reservists before and everything. I would like to be that guy that'd be like, hey, like this is my reserve weekend. I'm at the station. I want to have my crew qualified enough and everything. So that way, hey, those guys that this is their they're doing 72 hours every weekend and everything. Hey, hey, we'll take Saturday and Sunday. We'll see you guys Sunday night, and you can
Yeah.
take the section back over. Like give them the hookup.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely.
Because like most of your reservists are they're firefighters, they're cops. I had a guy who was a flight medic at my station and everything. And when they came in, it was like, yeah, I didn't always have this opportunity because certain people do certain things and everything. Certain qualifications need to be had. But it's like it was nice to be able to be like, oh, you guys got it? Okay. Well, if you need anything, call me.
Yeah. Absolutely. You can trust in the people you have.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I want to be able to be that trust and everything. I'm not just going to be, oh, they're, every branch has it and everything. You're like, oh, they're the reservists. Oh, they suck. They
Yeah.
don't do shit. They just they make, or like, or they make your life harder.
Oh,
And I've had that
absolutely.
happen before and
Yeah.
everything. It's like, oh, like I'm low on hours and everything on the boat. Like I need to get 40 hours. I was like, well, how many do you have? 15. I'm like, you cannot get 25 hours on a boat in a weekend.
Yeah.
Like
It's not gonna happen.
you're not screwing me because because you decided to fucking lollygag to the like basically to like your due date.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. You put it off. You procrastinated. Like
exactly.
it's your fault.
Exactly. It's like it's that give and take situation. Like you do things for me, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna pay it forward.
Yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like
Yeah.
so and that's some you being in the military and everything. It's like hey you want that cook like the cooks on board and everything. Oh, you want like a certain meal and everything. Fucking help them clean up the dishes. Help them clean up the galley. Fucking take out the trash for them. Fucking be on their good side.
Yo.
The more people
Absolutely.
you're on the good side with, the more you're gonna get out of it. And that is every branch ever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh,
I ended up I ended up having the best friends. I had the nicest people to me on deployments. Because tired of eating MREs, tired of eating shit.
oh yeah.
So like a lot of times it was, yo, hey man, how can I help you out? Yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
No, if you're going to be operational, like you don't shit on the support rates because the support rates are the only reason you're operational. And if you shit on them, they're going to shit on you, and you're going to be really fucking pissed. But if you hook them up, they're going to hook you up, and they're going to make your life easier.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a
So
guy.
never share your support rates.
Yeah, we so as food service, we used to go out with the infantry, because everybody got to eat, and they would they were in the field, they were miserable, like they were going doing all these workups, blah blah blah. Well, most of the times, they we would do everything that they did. Like we would get up before everybody else.
Yep.
0 dark 30, cook
Yep.
chow, make make the coffee, all this kind of stuff, and then instead of because grunts, the higher ups, they're super motivated. Like, well, what are you guys gonna do today? We're gonna hang out and wait till dinner. Oh, well, you guys come with us. You can't really, some E7 says you're gonna come with us. You can't really, like, as an E3, be like, nah, I'm good. Like, you can't. So then we would go do the same shit that everybody else did, and when they would get back and they would be, like, they're gonna, shower and everything and stuff. Like, we would be getting chow ready, and we had a guy who, he was standing in line, just having a rough day that day, because I'm not a grunt. Why am I doing grunt shit? Like, why am I cooking, cleaning, and going on a 12-mile hike? Like, what the fuck? That's not fun to me. Like, there's a reason why I didn't join infantry. That's the reason.
Mm.
And he was like, God, I was sitting there smoking because I used to. It's a bad habit. Don't do it. And
Definitely.
yeah. So we were sitting there, and I was smoking. I had my blouse off and everything. Blouse, for you don't know, it's your over your jacket, your
Yeah,
top.
we have bosses too.
Yeah. And oh yeah, I wasn't saying you. There's people who
Yep.
in
I know.
yeah.
We call ours. I'm saying we call ours blouses too.
Yeah. I had my blouse off, and I was sitting there smoking, and this guy's like, I don't want to eat this shit. I'm tired of this. I said, hey, what's up, man? And he just looked at me, and I said, hey, you don't want to eat this shit? Cool. Get the fuck out of line. And the guy's like looking at me, and I was like, oh, I made this shit. I'm in charge of this shit. The fuck out of the line. And I was like, you know what? Go grab your NCO. I don't even want to talk to you right now. Like, I'm over your shit. So he went and had to go grab an NCO and come back, and I said, hey, your Marine here doesn't want to eat this shit. So, here's a veggie omelet MRE. He can eat this. Because I'm still fulfilling my role. And if if you don't like that, like, you could grab your staff NCO, which is E6 and above. And we lose him here.
Yeah.
Oh, my Discord's
what the hell?
freaking out here for a second. Technical
You still
difficulty.
hear me though, right?
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, you're back. I don't know what was up with that. Technical. Look, it's not a stream if there's no technical difficulties.
That's very true.
My mic wasn't
Definitely true.
my mic wasn't working earlier when I first started, and you cut out there for a second, so we're all good now. But it was like, if you don't like that, go grab your staff NCO. And trust me, if I have to grab my staff NCO, neither of you are going to be eating chow. And this guy ate veggie omelet MREs because, to me, in my opinion, that's the worst MRE ever created in human history.
That's fucking terrible.
Yeah. Oh man, it is terrible. And he ate veggie omelet MREs for 2 meals a day for like 4 days. And he came up one morning and was like, I'd like to apologize. I said, that's great. I mean, and I looked at him and I said, look, you're miserable and so am I. I'm doing the same shit you're doing, and then I'm doing this too, and I'm in charge of these guys. So like I've got other shit going on than hearing you bitch about it. You want to bitch about it? Go away, but don't do it right in front of here. And I said, you know what? I'm feeling generous. So for your next meal, you can go ahead and eat chow. But today, you can have another veggie omelet. Here's another veggie omelet. Like, you apologize, that's great. But I'll forgive you later. But here, take this and then just go away. Leave me alone.
God, I would cry. Don't
Yeah.
like pissing off my cooks. I fuck with my cooks
Yeah.
relentlessly.
Yeah. When
Like,
it's
we
all
got a new cook on board. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm already on his on his hilarious shit list and
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, but if that dude was actually mad or something, or he was having a bad day, I'm not fucking with him. Hell
Yeah.
no.
Well, it's one of those. It's a give and take kind of thing, like, we're all in this shit together. You want to be an asshole? Hey, somebody else can be an asshole out there too, and you never know how you never know how much it affects you until you're eating veggie omelet MREs for like 4 days straight.
Yeah, and that's the thing about like the Coast Guard and everything, other than like other branches and everything, is like there are all those situations where like, hey, you're gonna go do the same things everybody else, and if your higher ups don't stop that, fuck them and everything.
Hmm.
But like in most cases and everything, like when you get in, like you do your one job. Like that's why like the Navy, the Navy is structured different than us and everything because like they have a rate for somebody that does one job, and they
Yeah.
only do that one job only. Same thing at the Army, same thing at the Marines, same thing Air Force. Sometimes you just have to have somebody that does one job. Coast Guard, we don't have that type of people. So like like for like my rate and everything, I do. I could be the small boat coxswain. I could be the rescue and survival officer, which is I hand out all the safety gear and everything. I could be the LE petty officer that hands out all the law enforcement gear. I could be the training officer, setting up training and drills and everything. I could be the one of the admin officers, making sure that all your qualifications and everything are going into our tracker. So that way, you're actually like not only are you qualified in person, but you're qualified, on paper, which is technically electronic on electronic logbooks nowadays.
Hmm.
Like you could be like 6 or 7 collaterals deep,
Yeah.
and then still doing shit with the entire crew. Um, and people need to remember that because like it's not just going to be like the cook just doesn't cook, and and it's different, and there's a big difference between like, oh, like the cook's doing too much, you need to make sure that he has time to cook, or the cook needs to be helping out a little bit more. You need to find that middle
That
ground.
gray
That's like
area.
the
Yeah.
biggest thing. That's the biggest thing, like when reporting every unit, like I need to be able to do my job, but where else can I help out with, so I support the entire crew? Because on our ship and everything, we're kind of short staffed right now because Coast Guard's hurting for people right now. But we have 20 people on board, 3 of those being officers, and everybody has roles. Everybody has roles in the boat. All the way up to the CO and everything. Like CO can be just as down with everything as us, and everybody needs to pull their weight, or it's not going to work out. Literally, like people in other branches, I'm sure that like in Marines and everything, like you could probably have like an army of privates in front of you, like even like a non-rate and a coast guard, even a non-rate, somebody that doesn't even have a rated job, is just as important as anybody else because you have a billet on there. It's not like, hey, just give us all the non-rates you have. Like we on my ship, we only have room for two non-rates.
Yeah.
Two. And you know what, they're just as important as anybody else on that crew, because if nobody's filling their billet, guess what, there's
You
nobody
are
else to
now.
send there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's nobody else to send there. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna get fucked over if the guy above you or the guy below you isn't there. Guess what? Guess who just picked up some more collaterals?
Hmm.
You.
Now, so now on your boat, you said you have 20 people. How many? So if you were like, ideally, if I had this amount of people, what would that number look like?
For what?
Your boat, your
We have
cutter.
about 20 people right now.
Yeah, I know.
We can house 27.
So would you be comfortable, like more comfortable with like 24, 25 on the ship?
Yes, because like for being a small ship, we like on bigger ships, since they're gone for so long, they have like, yeah, they have work days and everything, and
Hmm.
they do all that stuff. On a boat like mine, we have so little people that we're literally there for the mission, and we do training and stuff underway because we have to keep up and stay strong and everything. But a lot of it's like you got watch, you got your work. It's not like yours. It's not like, hey, you have it's like not like a regular work day. It's just like shit that you got to do because you have collaterals. You get the lowest rank to the highest rank has collaterals. Shit they just have to do without somebody looking over their shoulder, and they need to rest because guess what? When we have that case in the middle of the night and everything, like everybody's up. Everybody has a role. Everybody has a job,
Yeah.
and what? Guess what? Everybody's gonna lose sleep. So being on my boat, which is classified as a patrol boat, is make sure you stay in your watches, make sure your shit is done, and make
Hmm.
sure you get some rest because when we have to work, we're all working.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So and you're gonna lose sleep and you're gonna be tired. So that's why you're always like basically like what's it called? I keep on wanting to say pregame. Let's go with it. Yeah, you basically pregame.
Yo, you want to
You
pregame? Let's
pregame
pregame.
first.
Hell yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you always gotta make sure you're ready. So that's like the biggest thing. Like,
Mhm.
Semper Paratus is always ready. It's not just like the bullshit term that we say. Like in a lot of cases, it applies.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of the you guys have a lot of the stuff that we have too, like in the Marine Corps. Like the Marine Corps thing is all it's all about semper gumby. You know, you're always flexible. You
Yep,
just-
we say that too. We're Semper Gumby.
yeah, because it's like, well, like I was a cook. Well, when I went to Iraq, like we hired TCNs, which are third country nationals, to cook. So you only needed a handful of cooks because all you would do is stand there, make sure the TCNs weren't poisoning your food, and then I mean that only takes one or two people. So like, yeah, I worked at Class 1, I worked at Motor T, I worked with pit teams, mid teams. I stood guard duty. I we had these group of TCNs, and they would go around the base and like build HESCO barriers and fill sandbags and all this kind of stuff. And they were called the Blue Man Group because they wore blue jumpsuits. And it's one of those things like, you know, like you're in charge of the Blue Man Group, so you're going from point A to point B, doing this and this and this, and got a schedule. So it's like when I was in Ramadi, we had like a little prison there where you would keep detainees, and it was so then you would go and you would do detainee duty, and it's one of those things where you just got to be flexible. Like you can't fit into one specific role unless you're like mechanic, because everybody wants their vehicles running, you know, or if you're a fucking whatever admin or IT, you know, because that shit, like if that goes down, everything else goes down. But everybody else's job is very like, you know, you just semper gumby, because you'll be doing who the fuck knows what you'll be doing, you know.
Yeah, I think, and I always thought that too. That for you know for like having to do a lot with a little, having to be really flexible with the jobs and everything, and just like the crazy amount of shit that has to be done and everything. I think the Marines and the Coast Guard are a lot similar. I know the Navy is like, you know, the top, you know, above us and everything. And like when it comes to like nautical things,
Well, speak for yourself.
oh,
Speak for yourself.
I know. I mean, in real life,
I'm just kidding.
during time of war, they'll take us and everything. But the Marines and the Marines and Coast Guard are similar alike and everything. Because like, you know,
Absolutely.
same thing for us. If we make a stop and we have if we make a stop on like on a drug boat and everything, and we have drugs and detainees to take on board and everything, a couple people are getting dropped out of each rotation. You know, we're going to need some deck watch officers, we're going to need some engineers, we're going to need some quartermasters. You guys are all dropping out of that rotation, getting on the detainee rotation. Everybody has more watches, or not more watches, but longer watches to facilitate. So that's like the biggest thing on like a patrol boat, is that like, hey, like, it's time to switch everything up. You know, you better get your rest now because we could be busy tomorrow. You could be standing a different watch tomorrow, a longer watch tomorrow. Like, who knows? And it doesn't mean that the mission doesn't stop there. That if the next one pops up, guess what? We'll bring more people on board.
Yeah. The mission runs 24 hours a day. So
yeah, that's why it's like one of those things where it's like, oh man, like especially if you have somebody like especially operational, like so we like to get support rates out on the water, so that way, especially like another one of those names where it's like the rate is called the operational specialist. Sounds really badass and tactical, right? Yeah, they're like they're a dispatcher. Basically, they're a fancy word for dispatcher. But these guys are like, but these guys are in charge of like, where does these cutters go? They're like, finding out where like these people are calling for help from and everything. So it's good to get those support rates out there and like show them around and everything. Like, hey, get underway with us for like a day or two and just see what your AOR, your area responsibility, is all about. But then when it comes to like your operational people that are like, oh yeah, I've never been on a cutter, man, I would love to be one. Like, hey, we're getting underway in like a week, and I have a spare rack. Are you serious? I was like, I could bring this up to my command, and we can get your admin to give you orders. Like, hey, if you're, you know,
we can make this
don't
happen.
Talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Like, are you coming or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and see, that sounds like a good time. Like, I don't know, that was one of the things that always kind of like I tried to do when I was in the Marine Corps. Like, I did a lot of different things in the Marine Corps, and because, well, I didn't want to be a cook, I filled in. My recruiter was like, "Hey, somebody backed out. I need somebody I can count on." So, I got you. What he didn't tell me is you take that, if you go early, you're taking that person's spot. So I ended up being a cook, which I didn't want to be. And so I was always doing stuff like, we need volunteers. I'm like, well, okay, cool. You know, worked at the rifle range. I did operations for the USS Tarawa when they were deploying. Worked at the gym, the armory, the McMap, which is a Marine Corps martial arts program.
Nice.
And it was always one of those things that like was always looking to like in the moment type stuff. Like, yo, we need volunteers for this. Yo, oh, pick me. And I feel like that's the type of thing that I feel like in some branches of the military should be more of that. Yo, we've got a spot open. Who wants to go? Type stuff. Instead of like, well, you don't want to go, fuck it. You're going anyways. And oh, you want to go? No. Sorry. This guy who doesn't want to go, we're taking him instead.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, so definitely one of those things where if you're not if you're not volunteer, you might get voluntold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the one thing that separates us is that it does suck. And that was like I talked to like, and when I was looking to get into a branch and everything, I was talking to like the Army and the Air Force, and I was like, they're like, hey, like, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I'd like to do something with like with the armies, everything. I know the army has boats and everything. Well, I'd like to do something with like your boats and everything because I've always been an interest of mine. Or like with the Air Force and everything. And I was like, hey, I've been going through fire academies and everything. I would love to be like, I like, well, like do something like as like almost like Air Force firefighter or something. And I was like, oh yeah, you could get that. It's like I could. Like I'm not gonna sign up if I just could. Like it's either you're gonna give it to me or not. And the Coast Guard was like, Coast Guard was basically like, hey, like when you get in, you choose where the fuck you want to go. Like, hey, like they can't control the wait times. Like if you want to be a survival swimmer and everything like that, this is a little bit longer than some of the lower rates and everything, but it is your choice. Like
Yeah.
nobody can tell you what rate to go.
Yeah.
The only time that you'll ever, like I said, the only time you'll ever go from boot to A is if you're signing up for a rate that's critical, which is our
Yeah.
operational specialists, dispatchers, our culinary specialists, which are cooks, and there's one more. I can't remember what the hell it is. There's like 3 rates that are critical right now that you'll just go immediately, but that's special circumstances, and they'll still give you idea like what you're getting yourself into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like for real gonna look into that cook stuff. When we get done here, I'm gonna if you got a recruiter or somebody to personally who I could talk to, slide up in them DMs.
I got the cook that came on board right now is one of our cooks out of he's a E6 and he just came out of San Diego.
San Diego. Yeah, been there before. But yeah, I'm gonna look into that because I legit was looking into doing like some reserve stuff, and then it's kind of weird when you go from active duty to reserve, because I was in the Marine Corps Reserve. Everybody, you have to be, and I went from the reserve and then being done. Like it's kind of weird the way they structure it is prior service. Most branches are like, yeah, no thanks. But if you go reservist, so if you're prior service, you can go reservist, right. And then you can go from reservist to active duty. So it's like a big loop type shit, and it's kind of like dancing around the whole entire. Like you have to be a reservist for a year, and then go from being a reserve to active duty, and it's it's a big pain in the ass. But when people are looking for people, like you could get a waiver for almost anything.
That is true. Waivers exist for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, all right. So let's see. You're getting ready to go out for a while. We talked about some potential future retirement plans. So now, what other stuff are you doing on the side type stuff when you're not commanding a ship? What are you doing in your spare time?
For work wise, I'm one of the procurement people on board. So like when we need to get stuff on board and everything, it usually goes through me, and I put all the purchases in. I'm in charge of I'm one of the people in charge of the deck department, which is basically like keeping the outside of the ship clean, rust free, fresh paint, all the stuff. Keeping the ship looking good and running well. Because if if the ship looks like shit, it's not going to run. I'm not saying it's not going to run well, but it's rust. You got to catch rust when it's fresh and everything, or it's gonna start eating through your hull. And when the engineers need to get in on it, they're gonna be pissed at you.
Yeah, preventive maintenance.
Exactly. So preventive maintenance and everything. Anything that has to do with navigation, making sure that electronically and on paper and in our small boat that we are completely up to date on everything that has to do with navigation, everything. And then like this past past Monday and Tuesday, I was at the range all day, getting all my gun certs
Yeah.
back up and requalled and stuff.
Hell yeah.
What else do I do outside of it? That's pretty much all like that's pretty much all my stuff. I also run the rescue and survival system, so that's all the safety equipment that has to be on ship, and all the safety equipment that has to be issued to
Hmm.
everybody on board. And I'm also the EMT on board, so I gotta make sure my bags and all my medical equipment are good too. So
Yeah.
it's a
Man,
lot.
man wears lots of hats. Lots of
Yeah,
hats.
yeah, that's the Coast Guard for you. Like you're gonna get into some shit and everything. You can fill in roles pretty quick.
Hmm. Hmm. That's good. That's
Um,
good.
when I'm not working or when I'm not working, I'm not underway. Usually here at home, hanging out with the girlfriend. I'm a cat dad, not by choice. Just kidding, honey.
Aha. Aha. Okay.
Um, I love gaming. I'm a streamer.
Hmm.
I stream. I stream primarily during the week. With some weekends, but I usually try to reserve my weekends for the lady,
Hmm.
so that way we can be good because we both work a lot during the week. Um, I like traveling, exploring and everything, so we like to do a lot of weekend trips around the area, going out and staying places. I like boating and everything, but owning a boat in California is just not fun because the Pacific's cold and the Pacific's brutal. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
enough to have to be on there on the ship. So
Hmm.
it's not like your Gulf of the Caribbean or anything. It's definitely not close
Yeah.
to that.
Absolutely not.
Um,
And they're
I'm pretty much
super expensive too.
yeah. I'm not gonna say I like have like all these hobbies and everything, but I'm definitely the guy that's like, hey, would you like to go on a hike? Like I don't hike, but I'll go. Like, oh, do you want to go to the movies? Like, sure, I can watch movies at home, but I'll go. Like,
Yeah.
go out drinking with the boys and everything. Like, and kind of like one of those people. Like, I'm not like oh, like I don't have like an off-roading fucking vehicle, but it's like, hey, you want to go off-roading? Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
fuck
I'll
it.
go.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely that guy. I was like, yeah, I'll go and I'll bring a case of beer. Like that, I'm that guy.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you're out there experiencing. Well, you're experiencing life in the area where you're at. You know, that's cool. Cool.
Exactly. So that's
Yeah.
pretty much
Awesome.
like me, like off duty and everything. And I like spending a lot of time here, streaming and
Hmm.
playing games with my boys. And this cool thing about the Coast Guard is a lot of my friends I game with and everything as uh are guys I've met, guys I came in contact with down the line. And just like how Danny is in part isn't has is with the military gaming group. I'm with the regiment gaming group, so
Hmm.
get to meet even more veterans and more people that like to game and everything. So if I'm like starting a new game that nobody else likes to play, I go on my little Discord and like, hey, like does anybody play this game? And like, yeah, let's play.
Hmm.
I'm like, fuck yeah, like wear my Sea of Thieves shirt because I am
Yeah.
huge on Sea of Thieves now, and
Nice.
I would not have got into it if I didn't like go into like the Sea of Thieves chat like, hey, I'm new, I don't know how to play this game, and people are like, come play with us.
Yeah.
Got it. Love it now. Love
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely. So I started off in regiment. I'm still
Mhm.
a member of regiment. Excuse me. I'm just going out and exploring other military groups. I've been doing a lot of stuff with MVP as well. Super cool guys. But just trying to like grow in the veteran community. Like the regiment can be overwhelming sometimes with how many.
Yeah.
There's like 8,000 people in there.
Yeah.
It's insane.
They're going fast and everything, and sometimes it's like, yeah, I get kind of overwhelmed. It's like, I'm like, God, like I was on their Discord, like it's like, hey, I was on their Discord like and like yesterday. I was already 10 notifications because there's something, and that's like the thing. Like it's overwhelming, but it's like kind of cool at the same time because there's something, a little something for everybody. Like, hey, like
Absolutely.
there's 10 announcements, but that one of the 10 was like, oh wow, that looks cool.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like they're trying to appeal to everybody, but sometimes just like that's why. And
Structure.
with me, yeah, exactly. With me being like active duty and everything, like if I was probably home more and I had any kind of like structure or schedule to my streaming and everything, I would probably do like you and like go out and explore like more and be out with more veterans. But oh man, I have
Oh yeah.
enough just trying to keep up with the
Yeah.
regiment. I
Yeah.
trying to catch that regiment train. I'm just
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'll just stick here.
Yeah. I was talking about regiment on my stream yesterday, but yeah, it's a lot. It can be overwhelming, and then but the good thing about regiment is like you said, hey, I'm new here. I don't know about Sea of Thieves. Like who can help me out? And a lot of the people there are very friendly and will kind of take you under their wing and show you the ropes. And that comes with having 7,000 whatever members. Like
Yeah.
there's quite a bit of people in there, so it does definitely make it easier for that.
Yeah, and it's people that understand what you're doing, understand your schedule and everything. It was the same thing with like, yeah, being in relationships in the military. Like I'm blessed that I have Lindsay, and but like it was, thing was like, hey, it's like, oh, like, hey, I got a lot going on. It's like, hey, do you work a 9 to 5? Like, not really.
Yeah,
Like schedule is kind of like always changing, always weird, never makes sense. It's like, oh, well, what do you usually work? I'm like, I don't have like a usual work.
yeah.
Like,
There's
if you want
no.
to know, I got this week locked down. If you want to know what's going on, what my schedule is this week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Week to week, it's all about. It changes every moment. Moment to moment is different,
Exactly.
and it takes
Exactly.
somebody. I mean, it takes somebody special. I think um, a lot of a lot of veterans and like people in the military, like that's kind of hard to find, because everybody
Hmm.
looks at it as like the military is just another job, 9 to 5 job, until you get with somebody who's in it, and it's like it's a different type of life. You don't really. It's hard to explain unless you're like in it. It takes a toll on relationships, and finding somebody who understands that is it's you're lucky, man.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I come across, a lot of blue on blue relationships, and it's like, well, why do people do that and everything? Like, why are people willing to? And sometimes, they, it's unfortunately is something that's hidden until they move on to other units and everything because they don't want to get in trouble and everything. It's like, how could you do that? Like, how could
Yeah,
you, like, put everything at risk and everything? It's like, because I found somebody that understands.
yeah, absolutely, and that's the
And like,
biggest the
it's
biggest thing.
hard.
Yeah, is understanding. So that's good, man. That's awesome. Good for you. And like you
So,
said, 2 years, huh?
yep, two
Oh,
years as of yesterday.
hey, congratulations, yo, that's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I'm 2 days ago. It feels like
2 days
yesterday
ago.
because
Yeah,
yesterday I like was like just numb, numb to the day and like
yeah,
fell asleep like super early. So
yeah,
everything's like screwed up and stuff. But
yeah.
yeah,
It's good. That's okay.
everything, everything's been awesome. She's definitely been adapting well and everything, and definitely see her becoming a military spouse here soon. Not one of the psychotic ones that wants to be saluted.
Oh,
Obviously, I'm enlisted, but you know the
yeah,
drill.
yeah. We call those dependas.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. There's
yeah. We
spouses
we
and there's dependas. And
yeah.
if
It's
you
like
don't know the difference, you're probably
definitely
you know who you are.
it definitely goes military spouse and civilians and dependents want to be up here,
Yeah.
and that's oh
Oh
my
boy.
god. I just could not fucking imagine like how embarrassing that is.
Oh man. Yeah. It can be it's one of those like you get embarrassed for them and you're
Yep.
like God, like I've seen them at like mandatory functions.
Yeah.
And oh boy, you come up and you're like it's whoever sergeant whatever, and then their wife, and they're like, oh, you can refer to me as sergeant, like
Yeah.
no, I don't
I
think so.
we do get lucky with the Coast Guard because most most how can I say this? Like a lot of times when people are coming on the bases and everything have that issues because the people live on the base and everything. The Coast Guard, we do get lucky because most places don't need to have your spouse there and everything. There's no exchange, there's no commissaries. Like we don't
Yeah,
really have a whole lot of those in the Coast Guard. We take advantage of like the Army, Marine, and Air Force ones
yeah.
more than our own. So we don't have that, but they exist. They're out there.
Oh yeah,
Like
every branch has them.
right? Everybody has them. We just kind of get a little
Yeah,
bit luckier because we don't have like all this the amenities of some of the larger branches.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, count the blessings of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
But and just so you guys know, or everybody listening, we can all make fun of each other because we serve. The spouses can make fun of us because they serve alongside of us. But and I had this just recently happen and everything. Is that if you haven't served, and you're not a dependent of somebody who served, can't make fun of the branches like we can make fun of each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Had to put somebody in their place the other day when they were like, oh, the Coast Guard, huh, puddle pirates and everything, blah blah blah, and then oh, let me guess your branch kind of thing. I was like, what are you? And do is JROTC. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh man, yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you served yet? Well, I'm talking to my recruiter tomorrow. Again, it's like, cool. So you're not serving. Got
Yeah, yeah.
it.
Uh, yeah, like we do make fun of each other on a constant basis because we've kind
God
of
given rights.
we've those are our rights. We've earned them. And if you haven't earned that right, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, this is my channel. You can go fuck yourself on a different channel somewhere out there. Like in that black hole behind me, you can go fuck yourself back there. Because it's one of those things. It's a camaraderie. It's a bond, regardless of what branch you were in or whatever. There's a level of respect there, and if you haven't, I mean, you haven't earned it. So, and I don't know, like dependence, like it's kind of a gray area for me, because
Dependence
it's like
is a gray area.
it's like, yeah, we could make fun, but like you got to kind of know where your limits are, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, in my opinion, because it's like it's the same thing. Like, yeah, it takes a lot to be a dependent of somebody in the military, to be that spouse, to be that other. But, like you still haven't, in the Marine Corps, we stand on yellow footprints.
Mm-hmm.
In boot camp, the yellow footprints. You haven't been in those footprints, so you've never been in our shoes. So, like, you can talk to a certain degree, but, like, there's a fine line, in my opinion, which kind of, like, on this channel, that's all that matters, because it's my opinion. Like
exactly. No, I feel that and everything. That's why like I can take Lindsay out with the boys and everything from the boat and everything.
Yeah.
Because she'll bust her balls just as much as I bust her balls, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, there's just like there's certain times to fit in and everything, and then there's certain times where it's like it's not your like you can only understand so much,
Yep.
until you raise your right hand and you swear an oath. Like there's only so much you can understand about being in whatever branch. The
Exactly.
in the Marines, who are at the top, or the Coast Guard, who are right above the Boy Scouts. Like wherever you fit in between in that scheme.
I was just about to give you a compliment that you guys have the hardest boot camp above us.
It's
But
true.
Fuck you.
It's true. We don't need the compliment. We know it.
I put us in second place, and a lot of the other people agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, everybody's got an opinion. Yours can be wrong. That's fine. I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter.
Because I just got a couple. I got a lot of Army friends too.
Yeah.
And man, that oh god, that boot camp is a fucking joke. So is a Navy boot camp.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, I mean, an Air Force.
Oh god,
ooh.
I've seen the videos. Hey, do you have you have dental? Yes, sir. Yeah, I do have dental. Okay, cool. Well, make sure you get there. Make sure you take off your slippers and put on your boots.
Oh boy.
The maids will be in later while you're gone at your appointment.
Some of my favorite things to do, and I've talked about wanting to do this, is getting a bunch of people in a round table and like watching like military videos, like fail videos, or like one of my favorite videos to watch is like drill instructors versus Army drill sergeants, and how the differences between boot camps, like in basic, like, and just sit and be like, hey, did that happen to you? Like type stuff. Cause you'll have Marines, they just go batshit crazy. The drill instructors, like throwing stuff and yelling and stuff. Then you have Army guys, like some of these kids have never made a bed before in their entire life. Well, we're going to show them how, like type, like,
I only see, like, I'm not talking about like old school Army and everything, because I know old school Army drill sergeants are a lot different and everything, and I think a lot of it is just based off of and I don't think the drill sergeants are weak. I think they're just fucking weighed down by policy so hard.
Oh, absolutely.
Softer and softer fucking people are stop being soft. Not you don't deserve shit. Fucking earn what you fucking got. And the only two branches I know that can still get slammed in the corner and be fucking surrounded by 3 to 4 fucking DIs or CCs, and just be to the point where like they're trying to spit off something, and it's there's the Marines and the fucking Coast Guard. There's only two branches I know where you can get backed into the corner and be just surrounded by fucking flat brims.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't confirm or deny if that ever happened to me, because
it happened to me. I was an asshole.
That's my business. That's not your business. Maybe when I do my interview, we'll tell some stories like that. But until then, go fuck yourself.
I could not be a wallflower. I try to be, and I got cornered pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the branches have adapted to society, but at the same time, like you're training. Well, up until recent events, you're training, these military personnel to go into foreign countries at war. Yeah, like you save that soft shit for Berkeley, And if you go to Berkeley, yeah, go fuck yourself. And I used to live in Oakland, so I hate Berkeley. And also, it's Berkeley. Go fuck yourself. But you're training these people to be basically be America's frontline defenders, and you've got stress cards and phone calls
Stress
and
cards.
stuff like that. And it's like, the Taliban's not going to give you that same kind of respect if you're
Yeah,
having a bad day.
when you heard about that shit, when I heard about that shit going on, I'm pretty sure you probably were thinking it too. I'm like looking into my boot camp, like, please say this isn't policy with us. Please say this isn't policy with us. And like, thank God it wasn't.
Yeah, I had to go to I had to go to boot camp twice for the Marine Corps. I got hurt, had hernia surgery. The difference between like a year from the first time I went and the second time I went was night and day. Thanks to Mothers America. Mothers America, you go fuck yourself. It went from being like drill instructors were training people and in more of a hardcore sense fashion because like you're gonna life's stressful, like war is stressful, get over it, like
Yeah.
to I can't tell a recruit to go fuck themselves because I have to watch my language type stuff. And it's like, well, like, wait a minute, like, one, I don't think fuck's a bad word. If you do, you can go fuck yourself. And two, it's a catch, like it's a pausing sentence for a lot of military and veterans, and it's like that shouldn't be the criteria of like I get it, don't beat up your recruits anymore, you can't hit them in the face, I get that, I'm okay with that because it's
You guys still have the open hand strike, right?
I doubt it now, I highly doubt it now.
I think you guys are like the last ones. You still could like if like they could just like basically like open hand I guess it's more of like a push slap to the fucking chest.
Yes, you could.
What it is.
What they said is they were phasing that out when I went to boot camp, which was a while ago, and it was they would push you away because they were phasing that out, and it was you stay one arm distance for your own safety because I can't guarantee your safety if you're in one arm's distance.
Yeah.
And so that was that, like, because they still would have hit you, but then it was like, that's what they were doing. They were getting you one arm's distance away from them.
Yeah.
So little skirting around the rules. But yeah, I mean, I do understand not beating the shit out of your recruits because I don't feel like it's completely necessary in most cases.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a boot in the ass every once in a while, but a boot in the ass just for a boot in the ass, like, I don't think that's the best way to train, but, whatever. I digress. So you've got your deployment coming up. So we're not going to see you for a while. Now are you going to do anything big before? Because that's happening relatively soon, correct?
Yeah, I'm gone Monday.
Yo, see, so I'm glad you were here. You'll have to do this again after the fact. We'll have like a roundtable of just talk about what you can talk about, your experience and how it feels to be back after you take your time.
Oh yeah,
to relax and spend time with your lady friend.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have any big plans, I guess, for this weekend to do like a big stream? Are you just chilling? Are you like?
So I'm doing. So I'm after this, I'll be rolling into a short stream until about 6 o'clock. And then tonight I'll be doing the DLC release for the new Ghost of Tsushima. I was telling you about that last night, your stream.
Yeah.
So I want to do the release of that. Tomorrow I'll be doing an 8-hour stream with the people, and then Saturday, me and Lindsay are going to Disneyland.
Hey, Disneyland!
Yeah, going to Disneyland.
That's what's up. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna have a good time there.
So tomorrow,
I'm gonna be celebrating our anniversary and her birthday because I'll be missing her birthday since we'll be gone.
Yeah, awesome. So tomorrow, go check out twitch.tv/DUBTHEWOLF. All his stuff will be in the links, but he's going to be gone. By the time you see this, he's probably going to be, out in BFE doing whatever the coasties are doing. But
fucking around.
Yeah. So all his stuff will be in the description below. For his Twitch channel, you have like I'm assuming you have Twitter. I'm assuming you have um,
All the social medias.
all the social media. Is it Dub the Wolf across everything?
Dub the wolf on everything.
All right. All the links will be in the description. It's just easier for me to find if I ask now. Yeah, and then the Twitch channel. He's gonna, doing something tonight, tomorrow. So if you're watching it live, go check him out. Give him a follow. That way you can, show the band some support. But yeah, and then, like we're gonna have to do some when you get back. We'll have to do some more Destiny. That was fun. I had a lot of fun when we played. We played for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and it was just, just chill as fuck, playing some Destiny.
I'm super psyched that it's going to be, hopefully, if the rumors are true, this next season is going to be cross-platform. So I'm pretty psyched about that too.
Oh yeah,
I got a lot of people that play Destiny, and they're like, "Hey, I'm on Xbox." I'm like, "Damn it, that sucks."
I'm like, hey, be an adult, buy a PlayStation.
Exactly. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And excuse me. The cool thing is the benefit, well, not the cool thing, but the benefit is that I am leaving through September and October. Like everything is coming out. You got the new season Destiny coming out sooner, but you got Halo, you got Back for Blood, you got Battlefield and everything. So you'll be seeing us on a couple games for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. And then also, what was that other game we talked about it yesterday on the stream? Oh, it comes out in October. No. Far Cry 6 comes out in December. December. So. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm on a Far Cry thing. Yo, if you haven't checked out my channel, well, one, you're on my channel, so like, why not? And two, playing Far Cry 5 right now. Might beat it today, maybe tomorrow.
Should be today.
Yeah.
And then you need to get in on that. You need to get on that new DLC for Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah, we were talking about. I platinumed that game. And
I was talking to my buddy about it last night and everything. He was like, he kind of knew about the DLC and everything. He's like, so it's basically just like it's like a new story. He's like, I was like, it's a new story and everything. And he was like, I said, I was like, remember how good that game looked on PS4? He's like, yeah. He's like, the new island is for PS5 exclusive. I'm like,
nice.
He's like, oh, this is gonna be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't. If the game already didn't look so clean already.
Yeah, I bought a PS4 Pro. I don't have a PS5 yet, so I mean, if somebody wants to get me one, slide up in my DMs. You want to buy me a PS5? I won't say no.
I overpaid for mine. I overpaid for mine for a little bit. I didn't get scalped, but I definitely overpaid it.
I don't make that kind of money yet. I'm not that Twitch famous yet, so I don't.
What are you talking about?
But like I said, you're gonna be seeing in the future us doing some more stuff once he gets back from protecting the waters. Once he finishes doing his Aquaman stuff.
Yep, gotta guard those puddles.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Anything else you want to plug? Or any more stories you want to tell? I don't want to cut you off or anything.
No, you're good. I'm thinking. The only thing I could think of is, and this is one of the recent ones. If you're in SoCal, you may have heard of it, but one of my funnier stories is that so people like to try to make smuggling from Mexico into Southern California and everything, and we saw one of the people. They happened to be on a jet ski and everything. Jet skis are hard to stop because they are very evasive.
Yes.
I was doing my best to stop this person. It's amazing what the willpower of somebody after two people are screaming them in Spanish and English, and there's an M4 and a shotgun pointed in their face, and that they saw the willpower to keep going.
Yeah.
You gotta really show that and everything. So I did what I could to stop this person, and what I did was kept on, even though they were trying to be evasive of me, I kept on moving them closer and closer to the shoreline to the point where they were almost in pretty much breaking waters.
Yeah.
And so the person got rid of what was on board, then tried to take off, try to get around me. I kind of kept them pinned in the surf, and they tried to take off a wave. They lost a jet ski, and they tried to run up on shore and tried to make a run for it. And some Navy guy that was probably a couple of fucking natties deep at the beach just fucking absolutely tackled this guy. And there's
man.
There's some videos out there. I'm not gonna tell you where to find them, but I'm just gonna
Yeah.
tell you that they're out there.
Yeah,
And
I'll
there's
find
just
him.
this guy running. There's just this guy running down a beach, and he just gets thrown on the ground by this
Hmm.
fucking Navy guy. He wasn't in uniform. He's definitely
Yeah.
civilian.
Yeah.
Not civilian. He was definitely off duty, but just the way he's talking and everything, you
Yeah.
know, this dude. It wasn't just some Joe Schmo.
Yo,
So that was pretty awesome. Just seeing somebody like, oh fuck, like it's there's policy and everything, but it was like he made it to the beach and everything. It's like, what do I do now? Oh, there's somebody. Bam, slammed on the ground. I was like, okay, well, that's taken care of now. I
yeah,
don't have to worry about that.
absolutely. That's awesome.
So that was pretty awesome to see. Just
Yeah.
somebody be like, oh yeah, I'll help them out because we got all our LED lights on and everything, so they knew that we were working. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like put two and two together.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like you guys were like secret squirrel stuff where, like you were trying to be all quiet and everything.
No, no, no. It was definitely like all up in your face. Just some nice people trying to enjoy their day at the beach, and the Coast Guard's fucking bringing somebody just closer and closer to them.
Hell yeah. I bet that was a sight to
Probably,
see.
oh, they put people. It definitely made some people's days,
Hmm.
or made ruin some days. I'm sorry.
Whatever. Get over it.
Exactly. But
So
no, dude. I was saying, if you find enough people from enough branches, the next time we do it, we should do like the one of each kind of person.
mhm. Yeah,
One one.
absolutely.
Good luck with that Space Force.
Well, yeah. Yeah. We'll just get two Air Force guys together and that should be I don't
Some
know.
astronaut second class or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Uh
think I think you'll have to check military, but I do think in regiment there is one.
mm,
I think there's one.
yeah, I don't know. Like legit?
I think so. I think there is one. I have to check and everything, but I'm pretty sure that we got one.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to see some credentials. I don't buy it.
I mean, they are out there. Like I don't see them and everything, but you see like videos and stuff. Like it's not just like figment of imagination. Like
Oh,
motherfuckers
yeah, yeah.
got uniforms and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's legit. It's out there. It's just it's so small. It's so it's
Curious.
it's yeah, it's something else. It's insane. But so we always ask, like what was so far up to this point the best day where when like every time you think of that day, it brings a smile to your face or it makes you happy or something since you've been in.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you're sitting here and you're just like, "Yo, remember that time?" And you just, like bust up laughing or it makes you happy type moment.
Man, I have to think about this. I was prepared for this one.
But yeah, well,
Um,
it's curveball.
Greatest time and everything. I
Hmm.
would say. I would say we were. It was during in the Caribbean. We were on a really long patrol and everything, and we just got a really big drug bust. It was a sailboat. They cut the sailboat in half, put all the drugs in every void space on the boat, and put the sailboat back together.
Yeah.
And trying to keep it away, trying to hide it and everything. But there was just like things that weren't lining up when they were doing the boarding and everything. We ended up finding it, and we just come off of a big drug bust off of that. And we had gone down. We went to Panama, and we did a Panama port call, and we were just on this beach. Like there, we were on this beach, where we were in this area next to this like marina where I guess everybody goes to this marina if they're traveling through the Panama Canal. So wait, this is like the spot where they stop and wait until they have their date when they go through the Panama Canal. So it's like people from all over the world, like in their sailboats and everything, not just military,
Hmm.
but and we're at this beach. We're at this beach, and it's just a ton of people there. It's not. It's all like you got Germans, Australians, but everybody spoke English and everything. So you just got a bunch of people partying with cheap beer from everywhere, all over the world, and everything, with a
Yeah.
beautiful view.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We even had like the beautiful bartenders and everything, and it was just like one of the coolest fucking times where I was like, this is what I signed up for. Fucking getting the fucking job done and fucking the play hard, party hard mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds
And just
awesome.
like
Yeah.
and just like seeing people from all over the world, beautiful, best, one of the most beautiful settings. Like we had it wasn't like anybody else in the bar except the travelers and us, and it was all like younger people and everything. I was just like, this is great. This is
Yeah.
awesome. fucking
Wow.
chilling over here in Panama.
Yeah, it sounds like a great time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say
Awesome.
that would probably be like one of my top ones and everything. It was like the whole crew. Like the whole crew was there. It wasn't like people get all clicky and everything on port calls when we go to other countries. Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go hang out with these guys. Everybody was there. Everybody was chilling. Everybody was having a drink and everything. I think at one point the CEO had bought like a round for like the entire bar. I was like, this is awesome.
Hey, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's cool when you can be tight knit with everybody, where um, it's not just like oh, these few people, like you said, clicky. Because the military is
Mhm.
very
Oh
clicky,
yeah, oh yeah,
and
and I hate it.
yeah, it's kind of like you can equate it to like high school. Everybody's
Mhm.
got their group of friends, and they're very clicky, and they only hang out with certain groups. So it's good when you can be in a unit or on a ship or whatever, and everybody is kind of like gets along with everybody for the most part.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. Well, I mean, sounds like you've had some great adventures, and I'm super excited to hear uh, for more of them coming up. Oh man, I got to sneeze, and it's like in the tip of my nose.
I
Oh
hate that. Yeah, you'll catch up with me on my you'll be on my Discord and everything. So you already know what's going on.
yeah, yeah. I'm already in the Discord. The Discord link will be in the description too. All that stuff for Dub will be down in the Discord or in
Hell
the.
yeah, appreciate it,
Oh
appreciate it.
my note. Okay, I'm good. Sorry.
I'm pretty lucky to have where am I at right now? Pretty lucky to have 169 followers right now that are willing to
Hey.
hang out with me and deal with my insane schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's it's building a good community. I'd rather have 150 people that I enjoy and I can count on and are willing to work around myself than have 10,000 just people follow because
Yeah,
they want to, like I want to follow because they're popular.
yeah, I definitely and it's like when it comes to like just not I'm pretty like my probably my Discord and Twitch the most where it's like I notice when people leave and everything and it's like pain in the ass, but it
Yeah.
usually like the fact that like I try to be a decent human being and everything is usually
Yeah.
works itself around to paying off. Like if I I just come to a point where I say, yeah, well, I lost somebody in like in like Discord and everything, but then like I retouched with a friend that I gamed with like 5 years ago, so I gained somebody that was awesome. It's like
Yeah,
it's a give and
absolutely.
take situation.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's I've noticed like I've made more like friends since I started being on Twitch than I would have made normally. Like yeah, like
Hmm.
you notice it being a smaller channel, you notice like I have like 215 followers. You wake up the next day, I got like 210. Or you wake up the next day and you've got like 230, and like
Yeah.
you it fluctuates and you notice it being, a very, being a small streamer, you notice it.
Oh, it knows every little change. I follow up on everything, try to see like who it is. Sometimes I even try to guess like oh,
Who left?
it's like who do I think left? Like why did you leave?
Yeah.
Like in Discord it tells me who left, but like on Twitch it's like oh it never
Somebody's
changed.
just
What
gone.
happened?
Yeah. Yeah. And or you get the bot accounts. I think I have like 10 bot accounts on my Twitch channel that
Yeah.
follow me.
Yeah,
Whatever.
because it's like I didn't start streaming. I really streamed, and unfortunately, I've been really bad about it. I really want to try to fix it this weekend before I leave. But like the biggest thing was like I've always wanted to like first of all meet more people through streaming. I think I'm pretty funny. I think the people I hang out with are pretty funny. That's why I do like I jump through the hoops it takes to be a PlayStation streamer with party chat in the stream. Like the whole wiring configuration is insane when it comes to PlayStation. But like I was like that party chat is like half of it. Like I have to have my friends in there and everything and to meet more people and everything. So it's like meet more people, have everything out there and then to make the videos and everything, which I don't know why. I just like hit this wall when it comes to, like social media and the videos, like clipping everything out and like making these hilarious videos to put up on social media for people to watch. Like I don't know why I fell off of that train, but God, I need to like get back on it here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I do the kind of um the same thing with PlayStation. Like I stream on my PlayStation like a majority of everything.
Mm.
Um and it's kind of a worker like I have some kind of workarounds. I'll let you know how my setup is. Maybe you can use it a little easier.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely. I feel like I would rather um, jump through hoops and play with people that are I'm enjoying and having fun with than like whatever be famous.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. If I make it, I make it. But the
Eh,
coolest thing is that it's super fun. I love my channel. I love everybody I love everybody that's in there. I love the people I get to meet.
yeah,
I like networking to other channels. Like just rating somebody could just be like the difference between like making a new friend or not. Like, I think we literally met because you randomly rated me one day,
yeah. I went through
and that's how
regiment.
we met.
Yeah, I was going through regiment. I think like my channel's still small. And I think I had like two people, and I came in and I was like, I went through regiment and I was just scrolling through and I went down to the bottom because that's how I do it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna raid somebody you got 35 people in there. I'm not gonna raid your channel. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm not thirsty for views, and
Right.
you're doing good. If you've got like 30 people in there, like you don't need my two people in there. I'm not trying to bite
Yeah.
off
You
of you.
figured it out.
Yeah. And so I usually scroll down to the bottom and I raid people who've got like one or two no views or like 4, 5, 6 type stuff.
Yep.
And I think that's exactly
Started
what it
off.
was. Is I jumped into uh like I said, I switch around whoever currently I'm in the military one.
Mm.
And I switch it around and I think you had like 4 or 5 people in there and I was like, oh, hey, you're playing Destiny, yo, like I'm about it. And I jumped in there in
I
the
like that
raid, and
game.
then yeah, I like that game. Yeah, I was playing it earlier, and I jumped in, and then we just kind of like started hanging out and talking, and then that was a couple months ago. Yeah, a couple months
Yep.
ago,
And
and
then wham bam alakazam. Here we go.
yeah. Well, I feel like when you're with veterans and stuff like that, you kind of get that. You either click or you don't.
Yeah, and yeah, and that's like it's like when somebody reports new to your unit and everything, you
Yeah,
can know within 5 minutes, like, am I gonna like this person or not?
yeah, absolutely. You talk to them, and then you know right away if you guys are gonna mesh pretty
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
and then
Or you just can be another workplace associate.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys just gonna be are you guys gonna be friends or are you guys just gonna work together? Type of thing.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. So anything else you want to plug?
No, that's all. Appreciate you having me
Yeah,
on and everything. As soon as you asked
absolutely.
me, I couldn't say yes any faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because I knew you were talking about leaving, and I was like, I can't remember the date, but I was like, I'd like to talk to him before he goes, just to try to get like how you feel about it,
Yeah.
type vibe of energy, instead of like talk to you when you come back and you're like, well, like it's a different experience at that point. It's a different
Life
conversation.
life sucks. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life sucks. I don't want to be here. Get me out of here. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things like after the fact, you're like I'm kind of over it, and then you're like, yeah, it was good, like whatever. This is a cool story that happened, but a lot of people when you're out for a month, 2 months at a time, like you don't want to talk about it right now. You want to kind of like enjoy living in the moment right now. You don't want to talk about like, yeah, I fucking sat around for 26 days because we were doing some stupid shit. Like not a lot of people want to tell those kind of stories until you kind of moved past it and you're in a different state of mind.
Right.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And plus, if anybody if anybody's on the channel who doesn't know about Coast Guard or wants to know about the Coast Guard and everything, let me know.
Yeah.
I definitely, I definitely been around, and I definitely been around. I know about a lot of things in the Coast Guard and everything. So even if I'm not like in that lane and everything, like, cause if the military is in a small community, the Coast Guard is definitely a small
Hmm.
community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah, what you call it? It's funny. Like anytime somebody reports to a new unit, it's like, oh, you were on here. Do you know this person? Oh yeah, I love that person. And everything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're gonna have to get me in touch with your cook friend. I'd like to look into it because I legit thought about joining the reserves like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
So looked
yeah.
into it.
I'll definitely get with you offline and everything. And
Yeah, absolutely.
obviously we're leaving on Monday and everything. But
Yeah, not yeah. Talk about
yeah,
like right now. Yeah,
I'll be like, hey, I got somebody that's interested in
yeah,
like knowing about the Coast Guard like CS rating and everything. I was like, hey, see what's going on. I'm sure you will talk.
yeah. I'm gonna shoot something out to a recruiter too. Just one of those like, hey, I'm interested. Call me
Yeah,
type things. See what we can do.
GoCoastGuard.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No plug for the Coast Guard yet. Not sponsored. Could
Not
be.
definitely not sponsored.
Could be. Look me up,
One
Coast
day.
Guard. Yeah,
One
maybe.
day.
Yeah, maybe. If you notice the beard's gone, there we go. Something. Some big changes
They
are happening. Yeah.
they found me.
Yeah. Absolutely. They made an offer I couldn't refuse. So especially if there's bonuses, it's only a couple years, whatever. If I don't like it, I wanted to retire, but
Somebody in
here we go.
my chat, and thank you for the follow. So she asked me, have either of you guys heard about Mike Busey's Veterans Day party? I went to it 2 years ago, and I'm going again this November.
Never heard of it. No.
Michael Busey.
Hmm.
Yeah, it would definitely be an interesting one. That's for damn sure.
Mike Busey? I don't think Mike Busey and Gary Busey are this. Gary Busey's the
Oh,
the actor.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah,
right. Yeah, I'm confusing
yeah,
those.
yeah, yeah.
I'm confusing those.
I don't know who Mike Busey is.
I think in my mind I just saw Busey and I was like,
Yeah. Oh,
oh, that
absolutely.
guy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Gary Busey. I'd love to go to a Gary Busey party. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry. Does anybody in chat have any questions? I usually ask at the end because I try to I
Throw him up.
I try to I appreciate everybody coming by and chat, the subs, the questions, and stuff like that. But I kind of want to the veteran spotlight is all about what's going on with Dub. It's not about you know whoever's in there. I appreciate all the interactions and the chats and all that type of stuff. But the main focus is not it's not super interactive until the end. That's how I like
Sure.
to look at it. So if anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask. I appreciate Firestorm um
That was huge.
the subs. Yeah. Oh man, dude, what a great his is a good interview too. His interview was I learned so much about him without
Yeah.
knowing anything about him.
What was he?
He did a bunch of secret scroll shit.
Oh, nice. One of those guys.
Yeah. So I learned a lot about him without knowing any details about anything. So it was wow, it was such a cool experience. But yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Everybody stopping by, crowded with the follow. Abdullah, maybe I said that right, and a bunch of numbers, everybody coming by, Soccer, Ghost, Monster, I appreciate all these Dan's everywhere.
I got some information. So she said that Mike Busey is Gary Busey's nephew.
Okay.
The
I'd like to go.
party is at his mansion in Orlando, Florida. Free food, free booze, free haircuts, tattoos, strippers, everything a veteran could ever want. It better have Rip It,
Yeah,
honestly.
absolutely have Rippets.
They have legit tanks and and flamethrowers to play with. He even has a lake with a pirate ship you can ride. Oh my god! You see why I want to go get stationed back in Florida. This is why.
I'm joining the Coast Guard and requesting Florida. And this is for Veterans Day? Is just Mike Busey party?
Yeah,
Yo, you got to give me the
it's in November.
November.
Yeah, send us the link, Blondie. Send us the link.
Yo, absolutely. Slide up in them DMs and tell me more about this because I want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not flamethrowers and a pirate ship and tattoos. Yo, you had me at free tattoos.
Yeah, post in the chat. If it doesn't let it go through, just send it to me in a DM and I'll send it over to Danny. I just posted the YouTube video in chat. No, I guess I'm not. Send me the link through a DM and then I'll send it to him.
Hell yeah, Mike Busey party.
Thank you.
I'm into it. Sounds like a good time.
Is Gary gonna be there? Because that'd be awesome.
Yo, I would like to just listen to him talk because I feel like he would just tell some of those crazy tinfoil hat stories.
Yep.
I'd so be into it. Just sit and be like, yo, man.
I think I just watched a video yesterday of him getting arrested somewhere because he was biking and like swerving all over the road.
It doesn't surprise me.
Exactly.
Doesn't surprise me. But that's awesome. That's great. So what are you streaming? What are you streaming today?
She sent me the link, so I'm gonna send it to you. After this, I'm gonna do wearing the shirt for it. So I'm gonna play a little bit of Sea of Thieves.
Hell yeah.
And then tonight will be Ghost of Tsushima. Definitely gonna mess with that.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I honestly don't understand that you've never heard of this party. I'm like, I don't know, maybe coasties are invited. Yeah, that's why I never heard of it.
Yo, I was in the Marine Corps. I never heard of it, this party.
That's because you were under a rock in a desert.
This is true. This is absolutely true. Yeah. 100% true.
all the non-operational people probably went to it, but I'm definitely gonna
Mm.
look for it. She said it's gonna be the 10th year in a row for it. Oh, yeah, I'm
10
definitely.
years.
I got the you sent me the YouTube video, so I'm definitely gonna be checking it out.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna forward it off to Danny here and send
Hell
it. But
yeah.
yeah,
Let's,
if anybody has any last minute questions for me or Danny on my stream or on his stream,
yeah, absolutely.
please
Feel
send
free.
them up, or we'll be wrapping it up here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. Mike Busey, huh? I have to look that up.
Yeah,
Looks like a
definitely
good
gotta check
time.
that out.
I'll have to.
Uh,
I'll have to look up that video when you send it to me. When in between, stream here.
let's see if you see it. Hold on. Copy link. Oopsie, I'm pressing too many buttons. This isn't good.
Uh oh.
Wow.
Close it down.
I'm honestly gonna screw this up. Yeah, I'll send you the link.
That's okay. Now my nose itches. It's been itching like crazy.
Here we go. She said watch the video now. I want to see your reactions. All right, we're counting this as a question then.
All right, this is the this is a question. Do you have it on?
I just sent it to you on a Twitch DM.
I've got to pull Twitch. Let's see. Wispies. Oh, that's loud. Okay.
You could close. You could. Oh wait, I don't know how you're gonna get up on our stream.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna sponsor this on the stream, just because this is gonna be on YouTube for, I don't know, till the aliens take over or till Dub doesn't want it up there anymore. So I don't want no offense to Mike Busey, I don't want his stuff to be on there. I don't want to have to get any copyright stuff or whatever, But I'll watch it. I'll watch it after this.
YouTube does copyright too.
Yeah, YouTube does copyright stuff too. So like all the music I played before the stream, I have to cut it out and then kind of go through that way. So it's a pain in the ass.
I just get muted.
Well, that's what it does on Twitch. On YouTube, it puts a copyright claim for whatever song. So yeah. So I just edit it. That's why I do the 10 minutes of the starting screen and then I just cut it. Whatever. We don't need to worry about. We're getting off topic here.
No, that's cool. That's what I kind of do.
But if anybody doesn't look like anybody's got any more questions, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. And I'm super excited to hear some of the stories when you get back.
I appreciate it. I'll definitely talk to me when I get back.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do a little round table, or I don't know, or just us again. Whatever. I don't care.
I'm down for both, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. These one-on-one times are great.
Oh yeah. Well, appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to snatch you up before you dipped out.
All right. Badass.
So if you haven't checked it out, twitch.tv/DUBTHEWOLF. He's only gonna be here for a few days, so if you're watching live, go follow him. If you haven't already, doing some Ghost of Tsushima, and if you're watching this on YouTube, still go follow him. He's probably out in the middle of the ocean, just who knows, wishing he was playing Ghost of Tsushima.
I will be back to appreciate you. Don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But until he gets back, you can hang out with me.
100%. Definitely stay here.
Cheap replacement, but whatever. I'll take it. But yeah.
All right. Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah. So, but until then, I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I want Dub for being on, and we've got next week is Bearded Bandito, which is going to be awesome. Great guy. Can't wait to hear that story. But until then, tomorrow we're going to be back to doing our regular stuff. But yeah, sorry. Intros are kind of weird sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get too much stuff going on in my head. I want to watch this Mike Busey thing. But anyways, until then, remember who you are.